Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the City of Impact, episode number 20. I'm going to take a few minutes to give everyone the opportunity, as always, to start piling up, to start walking in here. We understand that this is now past Christmas weekend, and everybody's still stuck in the sheets a little bit. So I'm going to take a few minutes just to rant before I bring out today's guest on the show. Um, First and foremost, I hope everybody's enjoying an excellent holiday. Out here in the East Coast, we're getting snow warnings, and right now everything is fine. I don't know how things are going to look later on tonight, though, but it's definitely shit ton of salt on the floor, making sure that nobody falls, and we got quite a bit of snow. Not too much right now, though, not too bad. So hopefully everybody's enjoying their weekend, getting ready for New Year's. And hopefully y'all can hear me. If y'all can hear me, let me know. I'm getting notifications. I want to make sure I check that in case I'm not heard. I know I've been on here before. My mic's been off. Um, so y'all can hear me, just to double check. Let me know in them comments. I would appreciate that a lot. Hello, Amber. Hello, Mark Bannon. Okay, thank you for confirming, Amber. So I continue. Well, it's been a rough year. I think a lot of people are looking forward to this year closing out. Things have been insane this year. Fortunately, things have been improving and things have been great for this channel. We've been doing pretty good. Um, Once again, I'm happy to once again report our recent premium live event, JTV Snow Showdown 2025 WCW edition, is currently sitting at about 644 views. It is the biggest, most successful monstrosity event probably of all times that JTV has ever produced, and easily the biggest, most successful blockbuster hit this year. I feel like we've put out a lot of blockbuster hits this year. I think that Pumpkin Night 2025 was an excellent classic. And of course, the JTV Hall of Fame, I think, was another excellent classic. We're just putting out blockbuster hits from left to right, you know? So I think we've been having a good year. I think things have been great. I think that we put out a lot of excellent shows. And I'm very happy that this show as well has been doing really good. Ratings on it has been higher than usual. Um, and, it's all about improvement. It's all about getting better and getting bigger. So I'm very grateful for that. And it's fun. It's fun when we can do stuff like that. Having a major platform that's directed by someone that's a people person, um, is always a good thing. It's a positive thing because we don't have enough platforms out there where you can go on them and just be yourself and just get to tell your side of the story and be truthful and be honest. And nobody's just going to censor you and tell you can't do this, you can't do that. You know, this this platform is here and it's a beautiful thing. It's free for us to be able to speak our minds. So I say take advantage of that, and I say enjoy it, be grateful. But you know, I've been having a rough year, but at least it's good to see that JTV's been having a better year than me. And speaking of having a good year, and speaking of speaking the truth and speaking your mind on a platform like this, we have a very, very special guest today who reached out to me and personally and told me that he wanted to come on the City of Impact and say a few things, speak his mind. And I became intrigued by that. I wasn't told what it is, what it's about, didn't bother to ask him. He just requested the airtime. And I think that, you know, me having the ability to do so, it was only right to give him that opportunity. Of course, I'm referring to Colin Klein. Colin Klein has uh, not had his solo episode on here yet. And I figured, this episode 20, you know, might as well give him the airtime he deserves. So I'm very intrigued and interested to see why Colin chose to come on this show today and what he chose to talk about. And I'm also excited to speak with him. I mean, I'm always excited to be on the air and to be able to speak in general. It's a great feeling to be able to speak and be heard. You know what I mean? And that's the reason I always recommend for everyone to uh, speak their minds. You know, it's a good feeling. Speaking your mind and expressing yourself is a good way to release negative energy. So definitely speak your mind. Definitely, put your ideas out there. Um, we're out in the city, so there's going to be sirens. There ain't no way that there ain't going to be sirens if we're out in the city of Impact. So that's just it. There it is. God bless whoever's being transported in that ambulance. I hope everything's all right. They made it they made an appearance on the City of Impact. So God bless that person. Whether they're bad or good, it's still a living, breathing person in there. So God help them. We're not coming on here to wish bad upon anybody. But uh, make sure y'all smash that like button. Get ready for this. I'm looking back at my comments. I could see Shendon and John Skinner has joined us. So we are going to prepare to bring out our special guest momentarily. But I want to continue to say thank you. We have this airtime to have fun with Colin Klein and to speak and whatever questions y'all may have to Colin Klein, to JTV, anything related, non-related. We'll be taking any questions that you want, and we'll be asking. You know, I'll be asking Colin things for sure, but I'm intrigued. And when I bring Colin out, I'm going to introduce him the way he deserves to be introduced. And I'm also going to give him his microphone opportunity for him to speak his mind. So he's going to get a live mic and he's going to speak to you guys, speak to me, and he's going to say what he feels coming from his heart. So um, I want to take the time to introduce at this point our special guest for today. He is your current JTV World Hardcore Champion. And the last and final JTV middleweight and submission champion, the man who undisputinized those championships together. And hopefully I'm getting it right. My memory has left me over the years, but I believe it was the middleweight championship that he had and the submission championship, I think. I could be wrong. He'll correct me when he comes on here, I'm sure, but he was the last guy before Keith Ocean, who I spoke to earlier today, had great conversations with him and uh, Damian Taylor this morning. Excellent conversation with those two individuals. And Keith Ocean has some interesting things to say, wink, wink. But nonetheless, Colin, Colin Klein is a great man. He's a good friend of mine who I have a lot of love for and respect. And I listen to, and he's been very loyal to this promotion. There's a lot of people, but that, not everybody can say that they've been loyal to JTV. And Colin Klein is one of those guys that he's absolutely dedicated himself to brand building JTV. And he deserves love and respect for that. and he's a human being just like anyone else, any one of us that hurts, cries, struggles, goes through things. You know, all of us go through things, and on this channel we try to preach some of these things that, you know, we recognize that everybody's going through something, and that's what makes these podcasts, these shows, this wrestling channel different. It makes it different because it's not just about the views, it's not just about the most success we're having. It's more so just about spreading the gospel of things and reaching out and connecting with people, and that type of shit is more important than anything, you know. So uh I'm gonna go ahead and stop ranting now, and I'm gonna bring to the stage, we got Chris Conscience in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go take the time to bring to the stage right now your special guest for today, Colin Klein. Colin, welcome to the show. Welcome to the
Hi
show.
Jay, how are you doing? Hi Jay, how are you
Well,
doing? Uh, can
well, well,
I
well,
can I speak?
first of all, it's Kevin Impact, and second, maybe your cock is kind of loud. You know, maybe you want to tone your cock down just a little bit.
Yes, right.
All right, are you all right?
I think so. I don't think it's gonna come out anymore. So
Right. Well, you requested time to be on this show. Obviously, you got something you want to say, and this is the show to do it.
oh yeah.
So the microphone is in your hands. You're taking over. What is it that you want to tell the people?
Well, I would like to speak my mind on CAW.
Okay.
Well, I would like
Oh.
to speak. Hang on. Fucking someone put in mac and cheese. Just checking the comments. So
Mac and cheese comment. That's funny.
that's funny, Chris.
Mac and
So
cheese and chicken cock.
you're just nasty. Yeah, so I've been thinking about ranting and raving about this for a while in CAW.
Sure.
At this point in time, I feel like New Jack. You know, if you guys have seen that interview from about 15 years ago, he was eating a bunch of peanuts.
One
He
of my
said,
favorite interviews. Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
he talked about Vince McMahon and how he ruined wrestling and how it's like a bloody steak. You can't get any more out of it. And
Right.
at this point, it's like a resume to him. And I'm almost in the same way as him.
Okay.
I think, like, don't get me wrong. I think, I don't, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think CAW is doing good. I
Well,
don't.
let me say this before you go off. You know, a lot of times you remind me of Roddy Piper, and you know we both love him.
Yeah.
And on this show, you can say whatever the fuck you want. So the microphone is yours. Why do you feel that way? Go ahead.
Look at who's in it. You got pedophiles. You got fucking snake, sort of cuss, but you got snakes. You got people who manipulate and prey on other people. Like, what's there to like about CAW at this point? I came into CAW. I came into CAW to escape. We all did.
Right.
This is supposed to be our escape from life, from our personal lives. You know, we have issues and we want to. You know, some of us we weren't able to get into wrestling. I'm one of those guys.
Right.
There's a bunch of people who weren't able to get into actual professional wrestling, so CAW is where you go.
Right.
And once in CAW, you have people asking, "Hey, what school do you go to?" or "How old are you?"
Right.
You have people pretending to be your best friend, and then about a few years down the line, they shove a giant knife in your back. I don't mean to be angry, but this is just something that's been on my mind for a while. I've had many people tell me, you know, Colin, you have a YouTube channel, you have a voice. Why not just play a game, tell some stories, tell people your opinion on the matter of CAW? Well, this is what I'm trying to do here because I don't know if that's gonna get over or not. Ground. This is just me airing my grievances towards CAW.
Right.
I don't like it. I hate it. I freaking
You
hate
you,
it.
you
I can't
you could
stand it.
cuss on here, and that's fine.
Okay, cool. I fucking hate it.
You say whatever the fuck you want. You hate CAW. To be fair, I hear you, and you know me. You know I've been through some of that same abuse in call. Uh,
There's
oh, you kind of breaking up a
mm,
bit. Can you hear me?
for this, but like telling these girls joking about their boobs. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear you.
you. Yeah, you. It's kind of lagging a little bit, and it seems like you're kind of cutting out, and you can hear me like 5, 10 seconds later. So
Like there's some promotions out there. They like to joke about women's boobs. They like to bring that into the storyline. There was this one. Ugh, and that's true story.
yeah, we know. Well, I know.
You have people
Can you hear
joke.
me though?
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
hear me?
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. You have people discuss. I see that, Skinner. You have people discussing like imagine if we were like that. Like you think Amber or Punch or whoever the hell we told them to cut a promo in their bra
Well,
and
people
we
don't
joke about their
know.
boobs on StreamYard.
People don't.
Yeah,
People
like
don't
that
know
pissed me off.
Punch. If you're gonna come on here, you have to be specific. They know Sofia Spacito maybe off the show, but nobody knows Punch like that. So we have to be specific.
Yeah.
And you're referring to Amber as an Amber
Yeah.
Rock, the
Sophia
JTV
Esposito,
wrestler,
sorry.
right?
Yes. And I apologize. I'm not really friends with Sophia Esposito like that. I'm pretty good friends with Amber Rocks. But so sorry if I call them by their nicknames. That's a nickname that's thrown around in JTV. But
Right.
I'm not all for that, man.
Okay.
CAW is supposed to be a fun place. It's supposed to be a safe place. If you want to talk your shit, then you go ahead and talk your shit. Unfortunately, there's some people that get offended by that, and you can't say certain promos around them. I mean, that's
Right.
understandable, but when you can't cluckety suit or hoodie, you guys. But when
Yeah. Don't be distorted by the comments. I'm gonna pop them up as you'll be talking, so don't worry about it.
yeah. So
Let me
like
just
I was
let
saying,
me just let me just add something real quick, and don't forget the thought. To be fair
yeah,
to CAW, I understand what you're saying, but I mean that's not all of CAW that has pedophiles and people like that and stuff like that going on.
yeah,
That is a strong portion of a lot of things that go on in CAW. I agree with that. You know what I mean? But in CAW, I mean, you still have great people like us who are trying to
oh yeah,
do the right thing as much as we can. You know
yeah,
that
and
I'm going to defend that, and I'm going to pass you the mic, and then you continue.
yeah. And I agree with that because here's the thing, guys. I'm one of those people that tends to look at the negative aspect of life. I don't look at any of the positive. I always look at the negative. And
Okay.
I've been told many times you need to start looking on the bright side. Life isn't all gray and glum, but I say, well, it's not all sunshine and rainbows either. I don't mean to be a pessimist, but I have to think realistically.
Right.
There's times where I'm optimistic. And that part of CAW where all those sickles are, I don't want to be a part of that. But
Okay.
you don't know until you're like stuck in there. You don't. Some of these people, they're good at hiding stuff.
Right.
I don't want to mention names, but
Yeah.
there's people who are no longer here.
Right.
Some people that I used to know, and look at how they turned out.
Right.
Some of these people I put on a poster.
Yeah.
And when shit came out, I had to change it.
Yeah.
Like as I'm just saying, as a community, we got to do better, man. Get rid of. If you guys want to be edgy, that's cool, but sexualizing people and like that's not going to get you over. Another thing I wanted to talk about is and this is probably going to piss some people off. I really don't care because I want to speak my mind here. Another thing I want to talk about is the fake husbands and wives and whatever the hell in CAW. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Way back in the day, I almost became one of those people. I almost created Colin a fake girlfriend. Perry Perez was supposed to be his girlfriend, and then I saw all these weirdos on Twitter, and I said, you know what? Why don't I make a parody of that? Why don't I make someone who's so rude, so mean, has no manners whatsoever, will drop any kind of slur or bomb, whatever, on a podcast, doesn't care if she gets canceled or not, smokes or drinks more beer than Steve Austin.
Right.
Yeah, some companies will drain you. Because I'm looking on Twitter, man, and I see people, they have like, one guy had like 5, 6, 7 wives, and another guy, he was dating his sister. I'm not joking. I just about had a stroke reading all the crap they had on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, you know, man, I'm going to make fun of these kinds of people. And
Okay.
Perry Perez, she's Colin's roommate. Well, I guess not anymore. I don't know what the hell happened to her. I haven't brought her up in a long time. And I don't mean to be a bitter Brett here. I'm not a debater or anything. I don't mean to be a bitter Brett, but this is just me speaking my opinion. Maybe one day I'll go into this and I'll tell some stories.
Right.
I'll tell some stories about my time in CAW. I don't want to bring any heat here. I'm not trying to bring heat on myself or start drama or beef with anyone. I honestly thought you were going to be asking me questions.
Me?
Anyways,
Can you hear me?
honestly, I have a list of things I want to go through here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
But if you want to ask your questions, man, I'll answer them to the best of my ability.
Well, I'm kind of late for you. It
Yeah.
seems like you're getting my responses like 15 seconds later or something. But if I mean I'm gonna have questions for you to ask you, but you know I'm still reacting to the hysteria and what you're bringing to this episode. You know, you came on
Oh
here
yeah.
and I didn't know what you were going to talk about. So I'm just
No,
quietly
just
giving you the airtime and listening to you and waiting to see what we're going to talk about. And so far it's been, you know, some of the negatives from Carl and it's been some of the kind of ironic you know, fantasy relationships that are created in call, people creating brothers and sisters and shit like that
it's
and
annoying.
why
It's fucking disgusting.
I mean to be fair, I'm not gonna say it's disgusting. It is annoying to you know, in my opinion. I'm not gonna say it's disgusting. I think that it's fine. I just think that it varies on presentation. And what I mean is that like there's nothing wrong with you making a fictional girlfriend for yourself in a wrestling video
Oh
game
no,
and
that's not what I'm getting at. I don't mean to cut you off, but
yeah, you sure as hell did.
yeah, sorry about that. But there's also people, like I said before, they also have there's people out there that are like dating brothers and sisters, like in storyline.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen some of that. I agree with you on that.
And
And doing
yeah,
it like that is
I
the
don't
weird
like
one.
that.
Yeah, that I agree with. That I absolutely agree with. Yeah, I agree with that. We see a lot of
All I
that,
have to
you
say
know.
to that is get help. Yeah, just get help, man. I'm in therapy. I've been doing therapy. I've been talking to my counselor, to my psychiatrist. I'm on meds. You guys, that's not normal, and please stop normalizing that. That is not okay. That is just like what would if I'm not gonna talk about that anymore because I don't want to delve deep into that. But
Well,
what did you want to ask?
I would like to say some stuff about it, you know, because it's the
Yeah,
current topic, and I find it a little interesting because nobody's ever brought it up here on the show in the city. I have seen some of that. I've seen a lot of that in Instagram communities in wrestling and call. I've seen in YouTube channels for communities of people participating and stuff like that, doing stuff like that. I've seen it on Twitter going on. You know what I mean? A lot of catfishing and a lot of the weird shit. And I agree with you. I think
Oh
that
yeah.
in terms of the usage and the way they distribute that, the message that they're conveying, that comes off kind of strange. I don't think it's a positive thing. I will say in their defense that in a way I would rather they do it in the gaming communities than to do any weird shit in real life. You know what I mean? But
Mm.
in terms of people normalizing it, supporting it, agreeing with it, and call, I'm gonna be honest with you. You got me there because I don't even know what to say. It's a very interesting thing that you brought up. I don't even know what to tell you because um, I'm not even sure because I agree with you, of course, absolutely agree with you 100%. I know I do, but at the same time, people having like these weird type of relationships with other cars that are created and stuff
Mm.
like that, and doing the role play thing. I mean, it does come off kind of weird in terms of people normalizing it and supporting it. I think it falls under a matter of opinion. I don't know that it's a right or wrong thing, and the reason why is because it varies. It varies because it depends on how it's being used and how it's being disseminated among the audience, the consumer. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's argumentative. It's not a right or wrong thing. It's argumentative, and that's the reason you kind of caught me off guard with that one. And I don't even know what to say to it because it depends. If it's being used like in a pedophile way, in a weird way, um, I would say it's not healthy.
Mm.
I would definitely agree with Colin and say get help, like he said. I agree with that. If it's being used in a way where like it helps you relieve stress because you created a character in the case of how you brought Perry to life, it's not so bad. It can be a positive thing if you
Yeah.
could bring a character to life because major respects to our boy, the creator of Mortal Kombat, Ed Boon. Ed Boon was the guy that came and he had imagination and he had creation, just like me and just like Stan Lee. May he rest in
Yeah.
peace. All three of us had creation and imagination in our mind. You have creation and imagination in your mind, Colin.
Oh yeah.
When you write your Godzilla scripts and all that, and if you're listening, DT, I'm sorry. We're probably gonna go into Godzilla now, but
Oh no.
your Godzilla script is something that impressed me. I'm happy to tell you on air that you know chances are we're gonna work together and bring the film to life now that we have better technology, as you've seen. So that's more excitement for you, more positivity, because I like your script. But
Yeah.
the thing is just that you're using it for positive things. You know what I mean? And we've done positive things because nothing weird has come out of the Perry character. We've used the character, analyzed and used the character, and presented the character. This is your annoying sister. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
She's
I
like,
didn't
yeah,
know.
like the sister.
I didn't know that she was supposed to be a lover of yours previously. That's background information. I mean, it makes it kind of weird now that that's
Yeah.
gone out to the public, considering the fact that this is, you know, she's being portrayed as your sister, but at the
No,
same
not
time,
like a sister. Almost like a sister. She's like a friend of me of Colin Klein. I use it for comedic purposes.
so she's not his actual sister.
Fuck no. Thank
She's
Christ
she's
no.
she's like a stepsister or what?
No, she's just a friend of me.
Oh, a friend.
Yeah.
So I mean, anything could happen. You guys could just wind up kissing.
I hope not.
Well, I think it was said on air that she's your sister, so we might have to make some corrections on that. But
Yeah.
I mean, we made him here, but I agree with what you're saying. It's just it's more if it falls under opinion because of the
Yeah.
situation. It varies. It's like if I was to use an example, I would say it's like taking a criminal, for example, and not even a
Mm.
criminal, just someone that has gone to jail or whatnot. you can't say that every single person that has gone to jail is a criminal or a bad person because it varies. There are people that went to jail and didn't do anything, you
Oh yeah,
know.
man. Like
So
if there's people that like smoke pot, they'll get 17 years in prison. But if they
right,
have like child porn on their computer, they'll get like 5 months.
yeah, absolutely, we see that all the time. So with the topic you brought up of people having these type of relationship with these fictional characters, it is fucking weird. I don't
Yeah,
like it, but that's my opinion, and that's your opinion. But it's something that's happening, and it becomes something that's opinionated because it varies. Not every single person, I don't think, is using it in a weird way and for harm, but too much of it, like in Instagram and some of these places and Twitter, it gets kind of fucking weird. And you see it a lot
yeah,
in EFED, and EFED is where you see it a lot because you can't really produce it in PvP because in PvP it would have to be, you know, I mean, you could have girl, guy, or girl and guy, but it would have to be more girl guy, and it would have to be a realistic thing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And in the case of one particular famous couple, once upon a time, who one particular female was supposed to be joining this promotion, and her ex boyfriend, you know I guess thought that me and her was, he was worried of me having a thing with her, and he was worried that I guess things were, I was going to get in the way of something he had going on, and we were going to get in his way, and pretty much manipulated her to not sign with JTV. And then, it turns out that this person was an open pedophile. This is not my opinion. I mean, this is something that I've seen him admit. So, that's just how life is. It's a shocker. It twists and turns, and I think that we see weird shit like that in Call, and that to me was a fairy tale that was going on once upon a time, and then it turned
yeah,
into a nightmare when you find out what the truth actually is. You know what I mean? And so and there go them famous City of Impact sirens in the background once again. Those things are gonna get over on this podcast, trust me. But and if that's like an ambulance or some, okay, I can see from here actually. It's an ambulance, and I can see where it's at. So since I can see that that's an ambulance, I'm gonna say to that person as well, God bless, and I hope that that person is fine, and no matter who they are, because it's a living, breathing human thing, human person. So God bless. And I can see where they're at from here. And I always love the lights on the police cars and the sirens. I was always a big fan of that.
mm,
But anyways, back to the topic. I think that it is very strange. I do agree that it shouldn't be normalized in call. I think that a lot of that should be watched out. But I mean, you have to remember that call is about imagination. It's about fiction. It's about
yeah,
telling stories. It's about character. So call is where you get to come, and it's kind of like a canvas, and you get to just write and draw whatever you want on there. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think that's the reason why I often reference call as an art form, and something beautiful that we created and stuff like that, because I've been quoted saying those things because it is a great thing. Call is not a bad thing. You came into the studio today completely trying to fucking bury it, and I'm gonna defend call from everybody. Call is not a bad thing. I think the people that are in call make it bad when they're cancerous. You know what I mean? So I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you, but I
yeah.
think it depends, and it falls under opinion due to the fact presented. You know what I mean? So that's that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
And
stop now.
I don't mean
Okay.
to bury it.
Okay. No,
So
I know you don't. It sort of came out wrong. I get that, but I just wanted to clarify for everybody listening, because that's the reason I also clarified that you was making reference to Sophia, who's the JTV Women's Champion, and to Amber Rocks, because that's the reason I'm talking to you now like I'm Chris Hansen or something. I'm not talking to
yeah,
you as me talking to you, because we're on the air and it's a show. So I can't talk to you like we're in a party chat. I have to talk to
right,
you as like I'm a journalist. So we have to
yeah,
be specific about what we say. You know what I'm saying? We have to
right,
be in great detail about the things that we say. That's why I mentioned Keith Ocean. I didn't say Keith, or nothing. I said Keith Ocean, when I was talking to him earlier, and Damian Taylor. So people know and understand who I'm talking about, who I'm referencing. So that's all.
Mhm.
So I'm going to stop now. The microphone is back in your hand. If you want to continue on that or go to another topic, something you want to say, it's up to you, man.
Yeah, and it's not like it's the people in CAW that I don't like. There's people like yeah, call like don't get me wrong, call can be a wonderful place, and I don't mean to look at everything negatively.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm having a drink.
No,
Yeah,
today,
some
take your
people
time.
shouldn't have control of cough heads. As one thing I don't like that's really tiring is when people they change stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
If you keep changing the name and you can't keep doing that, man, you you gotta if you develop something and you strike gold, you gotta keep digging. You gotta keep striking gold. You gotta keep digging. You gotta develop what you have. You gotta make because you can make that into a worldwide phenomenon. And then there's people that they shouldn't even be part of CAW. And
I
like
agree.
New Jack said one more time, he didn't like WWE. It was just he didn't like wrestling as a whole. It was just he called it the drizzling shits. It was just a resume to him. He wanted to get out.
Right.
And when you have these 2K games, they barely work for custom wrestlers. When we have to film our matches and it takes like 3, 4, 5 tries, it gets exhausting, and we pay 2K a lot of good money. And
Absolutely.
this is me
Amen.
being calm right now. We pay 2K a lot of good money to get our matches done on time, and we can't do that, and it causes scheduling conflicts and delays.
Right.
And if I looked it up, I looked up how many shows we did on each game. I think we did over 30 shows on 19. We used 20 for a couple years. We have like maybe 11 shows. I'll have to look at the list again. And then on 24 and 25, we have something like 4 shows on each game.
Well,
As you noticed,
there's
the
there
shows are starting. Yeah, they're
there
starting to go down.
I know where you're going with this, but there's the thing about that is that it's not just 2K. It's my health. It's 2K, but it's also my health, and it's also because if you go back and you look at what we were doing in 2K19, and you look at a lot of those next gen shows and those 19 shows, there wasn't a lot of really complex, uh, deep editing going on into them. They were pretty basic.
Right.
JTV19 was match promo, match promo, match promo. You know what I mean? And next gen, you had segments, but it was like promo. You might get one or two segments, and then it was just a couple matches. So the stuff that was going on in 19 was more rapid because, as you were going to say, the 2K19 lobby server was excellent. It loaded in. We had a lot of great matches on
Oh
there. We
yeah.
had a lot of fun on there. We got the opportunity to have like the debut of Shendon and people like that on 19. Troy Jackson was on 19 and stuff like that. Not 19, next gen. And then in 19, you had like John Skinner, Keith Ocean, people like that coming in. So everything was more easier to put out. Now it's been more of, number one, my health has been insane. Number two,
Yeah.
with the roster size of JTV, it's very difficult as one person to manage a talent roster of such. You know what I mean? And that's the reason I try to work with all of y'all. The lobby has played a role in that, but it's not the direct reason why seemingly there's been lesser and lesser shows. And another factor has been just what are we doing? A lot of the shows that we've been doing, centered and focused around
Yeah.
specific things that put us in a situation where a lot of editing has to take place. This WCW show took about 2 months to produce. Obviously, from those
Shit.
numbers, you can see that it was worth it, but it still took time. It took a lot of time, and my health has just been kicking my ass. I've been whatever time I could put towards it, I put, and we was able to get it done. But it was not easy. And think about this. This was a simulation show. This wasn't even a PvP show,
Yeah.
and it took time. So that just goes to show you where we're at. My health playing a role in it, and the editing that goes into it. It takes time. It takes a lot of time to edit. That's one thing that a lot of people don't sit and think about. Everybody wants the show to come out every 2 or 3 weeks, but you're not the one that's sitting there on the PC forcing yourself to have to try to edit this show, even when you
Yeah, and I
can't do it
wish.
or don't want to do it.
Yeah,
You
and I
know.
wish people would be more patient.
So do I, but I mean, people can't see what you're going through, and that's why
Yeah.
assumption exists, and that's the reason why people are just gonna say whatever they're gonna say. Like I know, like a lot of people in JTV know, a lot of people told a lot of lies about me. Assumptions were made, and then when I come to the stage to speak my mind, everybody feels just fucking stupid because like, oh, like I didn't know. Well, you should have investigated, you idiot.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it is with this. So the lesser shows every year has centered around not mostly that lobby being messed up. It's just what we're doing. You know what I mean? It's just what we're doing. That's all it is. Because you got to think, we even got Retro Slam. Retro Slam is easy to put out. It's just everything has been a process. Times have been tough. Things have been difficult. That's all it is to it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
unfortunately, like I had said before, that a lot of y'all don't really want to hear or think about. I keep saying that this book has a few pages left. So it's a sad thing, but that really just is the end of the book just starting to peak a little bit. You know what I mean? So we
Yeah.
make the most out of the events that we have. You make the most of them. You enjoy them. You make them go viral. I've asked this community often to step up and to support me and stuff like that. A lot of it does not happen. It may occur like in the on the shows and stuff like that. There'll be all those likes and everything on the show, but I mean that support system is not there. People have personal things going on. I understand that to begin with, but I mean, I'm just not asking anymore. I mean, there should be more comments on certain things. There should be more likes. The support is just not there. And um, people want to be able to be produced as a top star and celebrated and all this other stuff, but they're not putting the work in. And that's why going into next year, we're just moving in a direction where we're just going to focus on people like you. People
Yeah.
that have been a backbone, people that care, people that are supportive and involved and stuff like that. Like that's where we're going. And it's gotten so serious that some people panic and started doing their shit so that they don't get kicked out or not taken off the show. And then there's other people who just don't give a shit, and that's completely fine because when 6 months to a year go by and you don't find yourself getting booked. I mean, it's going to be sweet peaches. You know what I mean? Because don't ask why you're not getting TV. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes, and that's just where I'm
And
at. And then you mentioned before you go ahead, you mentioned people that aren't here. There's a lot of people that we've built into household names back in the day. And instead of them being fucking grateful, they just took advantage of me, took advantage of this community, and just try to make the most of it for themselves. And when they got to the point where they weren't benefiting from it anymore, it's just like, oh, fuck that community. I'm just gonna screw them and go somewhere else, or I'm gonna align with someone else. And that's just how it goes. You know what I mean? People who
yeah.
tell me that we're friends and that they love me and all this other stuff, and the next thing you know, I make an executive decision based off of actions that they committed, and I'm the bad guy. So I'll pause there and give you the mic.
And I agree with that 100%. I do believe there's people in JTB. We're giving you guys a very, very big opportunity here to showcase yourself, your talent. If and I understand if you guys have personal shit going on in your life. I have personal stuff going on in my life too. We all do, but we also got to do our part. Like, CAW is like actual professional wrestling. We got to work with each other. We got to make money. We got to do business with each other. Imagine if you show up to a movie set, you're like Ryan Reynolds in Red One, and The Rocky shows up like 7 hours late to a movie set or whatever.
Right.
Or you're not reading your messages. And I'm not gonna lie, man. When I first started, I didn't check my messages a whole lot. I remember I think I was supposed to be in a tag match or something, and I didn't check my messages. And one guy he texted me, he's like, "Where the hell are you?" And
Yeah.
ever since that day, I started checking my messages. I check them every single day. I not every single day. I check them like every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure I'm not. I gotta make sure I'm not missing anything. If you guys need me to do something, I make a schedule of it. I'll let you guys know. Okay, yeah, I can do this match. If you need me to do a promo, I'll get it done as fast as I can.
And you see, that's something else you just brought up that's very interesting. Also, um, if you're in a PvP promotion where you're competing, you got to be active.
Yeah,
You got to
that's
check
important.
messages. You got to be involved. Like I have zero problem with you. I could hit you up anytime. I could probably hit you up at 3, 4 in the morning and tell you, hey, we need to do a match of taping, and you'll get on. And I don't ask that from people unless you're Shendon.
And I'll do it.
But that's just my point that
Yeah,
you're involved and you check your messages, and if I call you, you'll pick up. There's people that just disappear, different things go on. They're not involved, they don't participate, it's hard to find them, and I'm not looking to do that anymore. I'm not looking, if it's hard to find you and you know better when I tell you things over and over and over, I'm done. And that's what happened to Troy Jackson. Troy Jackson was the future. Troy Jackson came in as a prospect, as a very young talent, and respectfully, I wanted to keep him on next gen developing because I didn't want to put him in the main roster. You got a lot of pedophiles going on, like
yeah,
we said, and we haven't had a lot of pedophiles in JTV with the exception of one that we got rid of, and then another one that he got rid of himself, and then there was a third one. I mean, pedophile supporter, I should say, for the third one. But
yeah.
on record, with evidence, two, maybe three. If Scotty Gross was another one of them, he was pretty fucking weird himself. But
My name is Scott Grouse.
but and I'm saying, and that's alleged. I'm saying if. So if I name dropped you, Scott, because I know you're subscribed to this channel. I know you watch. I'm not saying you are, but if you are, then go fuck yourself. Um, but nonetheless, two on record that we know of. One in particular that I didn't know, and then we just exposed him, and then another one just we didn't even need to expose. I mean, he himself revealed it, and then almost got his ass canceled out of CAW. You know what I mean? The man had to change accounts, and then he had his supporting nation behind him, which is not it's not a good thing. Okay, it is not okay for a fucking grown adult to support a pedophile, no matter the circumstances. Justice for these nuts. How about that? Okay,
Mm,
it is not okay. It will never be okay. All right, if you support a pedophile, you are a pedophile. Moving on though, it's very important to be involved, to check messages, to participate. Um, Sometimes I just don't understand people, and it's very unfortunate when careers end because of stuff like that. Troy Jackson is someone that had all this potential. He came over, imported as a prospect over into Mega Rush, working with the All Star kid Corey Flash. He was in this segment with Shendon. He was getting a rub.
yeah,
He was getting that push. He was being vaulted. He was getting opportunity from left to right. If he would have just did his shit, he was a made man. We were going to take care of him. Everything would have been fine. But the thing about him is that he never really evolved his style. He was very bland, very generic, very basic, and he's someone that I showed a lot of love to because you guys know me, and I don't like bland, I don't like generic, and I don't like this PG bullshit. You know, and I'm not saying that Troy was PG, but the thing about Troy is just that he fell under the category of wrestlers and talent that I don't like. that are basic, bland, generic, and fucking boring. And respectfully to him, he fell under that category. Troy Jackson, everything about him. He had a look, but and a presence, but everything about him was pretty bland. And he didn't evolve that style. He kind of stood there. He came in as a noob. He came in as a league guy, and that league shit just doesn't work here. He
Yeah.
thought he was going to come in here, dominate, and stuff like that. And he thought that what made you a star was just dominating and winning matches. Maybe that have worked. Maybe that worked for Shendon, but the only reason it worked for Shendon is because Shendon developed charisma. He got good on the microphone. He had a good look as a wrestler, as a talent, as a mixed MMA fighter, and he's good PvP. He's one of the best PvP guys on the planet. So Shendon can back up everything that he has. Whether me and him like each other or not, that's the guy. And his stuff is legit when he delivers. I mean, Troy Jackson is like he can deliver, but the thing about Troy is that there's so many other stuff that was missing about him. And in time, when he got the rub and opportunity to come up to Mega Rush, he just didn't give a shit. Wasn't involved. Some of the guys had to bring him in. I think it was Shendon who invited him in to speak to some of the guys in the locker room in the party chat, and just to try to get him going again and try to get him interested in what we're doing. And he did that for a little bit, and then he just kind of shied away from it. Doesn't watch the show. Doesn't know who's who. Doesn't know who's what. Just would wrestle matches and stuff like that. And this was never a home to Troy Jackson, and this was never JTV to Troy Jackson, and this was never like sort of nothing really special to him. It wasn't even a PvP promotion. It was just some league. It's just some league for him that he's in out of the others, and that's it. Like this is not a league to you. This is home to Colin Klein. This is home to a lot of people,
Yeah.
and those are the stars that I should always need to focus on. And thank God that God made me for y'all. He didn't make me, like a Craig Mack or some shit or some fucking dweeb and fucking call that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, that just wants to act like a boss and run a fucking promotion when they don't know what the fuck they don't know how to do it. You can't even fucking manage your fucking nutsack out of your pants, let alone, going to try to run a promotion when you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And that's kind of like, what this falls to. And I take time to work with everybody. And it's not just Craig's stupid ass. It's also leagues out there, league owners who just don't know what they're doing. They want to run a promotion and they run it into the fucking ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
you need to learn. They need to learn leadership,
right,
and you can't be a leader if you look at NWO WCW. They basically ran WCW. That because
right,
they gave them too much creative control.
yeah,
It's important to give someone creative control, but you don't want to give them too much. Like
yeah. I
there's
agree with
times
that.
where there's times where I pitch to, hey man, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'm fucking grateful that you said no, because I went back and I thought about it, and I said, you know what, man, actually that kind of sucks. I don't like that. I'm not a big fan
Yeah,
of that.
yeah. I mean, I try not to do that all the time, but
Yeah,
it is important as the admin to this community, when it's time for me to say, hey, I think this idea fucking sucks. It's just what it is. But it
yeah,
doesn't always work in my favor neither, because there's been times I was against an idea and I was wrong.
yeah,
Shendon came to me and told me about Casper, and I thought, oh, this is not going to work. I was wrong. And the same happened with Amanda and some of these other characters. Toyo Tamahami is another excellent character that I was like, man, maybe this could be a one-off, and then it turns out that it just worked. So I stay open-minded to what might work, might not work, but there's just some ideas that it's like, it's just not going to work. You know what I mean? And it's better to
yeah.
just not execute it. So we do have questions. I'm taking them down. All your questions, I'm marking them down, and we're going to go back to them. But Troy Jackson, or what was I saying? You see a lot of things in call that just shouldn't be, and I have to be open-minded. If I'm not going to be open-minded, then I shouldn't be in this position as the
Yeah.
admin of JTV. There's no reason, because I'm manipulating my abilities and power, and you see a lot of that. And I've said this a few times. I went on that channel right there, Kentucky Gamer 32. I went on CJ Mondo's podcast, and I've said it on here as well, that as an owner, and I could remember Shendon was having a conversation with Cody Sullivan. Cody Sullivan is one of the guys coming up now. He's one of the kids coming up. And they were having a conversation because Cody didn't, I guess he forgot that Shendon was out there, and they was kind of coming from the same scene. Dumb, the Brothers in Arms, Cerberus, a lot of these people, Dallas. So they had a conversation, and I stood there and listened to it. And Shendon was explaining to Cody how they were in some promotions where it's like the owners will have favoritism, and it will be, well, they're going to put their friends on top and stuff like that. And I don't agree with that. You can't do that. You have to be able to put your differences aside. Take Jada Nix, for example. Anybody that knows their history, has done their research, knows that me and Jada Nix damn near almost killed each other. You know what I mean? Jada Nix wanted to run his mouth once upon a time. He was wrong. He didn't know what he was saying or doing. Didn't realize that he was making a mistake, and hadn't really know what was going on. He was just going off of what he was being told instead of what actually happened, and getting my side of the story, you know. And even then, I've had the opportunity to bury him and do whatever I want, and instead we opened the door for him. I accepted his apology, and I'm sure Jada Nix himself will tell you that me and him aren't exactly friends today. But me running JTV, it's not supposed to be that me and him are in that stage and I just hold him back. It's supposed to be, if Jada Nix is willing to work hard and do his shit and bust his ass, then opportunities will be given, and opportunities were given. He got the opportunity to break the streak, got the opportunity to get the C Division Championship title. He's getting a tag team title shot at Chemical Warfare. He called out no kills, no damage yesterday. You know what I mean? And it was just produced perfectly for him and stuff like that. Like, I keep saying, you guys are spoiled in JTV, but the thing about it is that I love it. I love that you guys are spoiled in JTV. I love that you guys get to be as childish as you want to be in JTV when it comes to me spoiling you, because I'm Professor Xavier, I'm Stan Lee, I'm Ed Boon of Mortal Kombat when it comes to JTV. I'm gonna go on record right now and say I love spoiling y'all. I love it. I love it. I get off on spoiling y'all because especially if you deserve it. But what I don't fucking like is when you tell me you love me and we're family and all this other stuff, and then you fucking betray me and stab me in the fucking back. That's what I don't like. I don't like being lied to. I don't like fucking shit like that. You know what I mean? So I love spoiling y'all. But when you come up with some fucking stupid shit and you assume and you go off of what somebody else said with no fucking evidence, and then I have to come out and clarify and clear everything up, and then everybody feels fucking dumb. Um, that shit bothers me. So I love spoiling y'all, and I'll put that out there, But um, it is very important to be involved. It is very important to be a CAW promoter and to build your talent, build everyone that you have, not just build your fucking buddies. You know what I'm saying? Um, giving fucking people championships when they haven't fucking earned it. People not being able to fucking be good at PvP. They go somewhere where it's simulated, and then they just get the whole world. I mean, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? If you could get a better deal, I think that's fine. I love Call. I love CW. Love this whole thing. But my thing is just that, the sneaky schemish bullshit, it's out of there. You know what I mean? That shit is out of here. So people had opportunity. Troy Jackson could have been something big. He just didn't give a shit about it. So I moved on. We moved on. I respect Troy Jackson. I have no problem with him. He's from out here in my neck of the woods. We have not met yet. And I respect him. And he, no doubt, is going to be a JTV legend. He will be remembered for sure. In the archives of JTV on this channel, he will be remembered. But there's just no interest. And that's just where I'm at. So you being active and a talent being active is very important. towards a community, but also being a owner, the boss, if you will. You can't play favorites, man. You can't do that. You have to be open minded, and you have to work with everybody. Okay, so
That's important. Yeah.
it's very important. Yes. So I'm gonna stop now. Look at the comments, and if you want to go on to something else to continue, go ahead.
Yeah.
I like this comment conscience put up. Impact is the Walt Disney of JTV.
I like that.
That's
You know,
sweet.
my character, I'm not trying to rush into anything. Would I like to be a world champion one day? Yeah, I would. But I don't feel like I'm at that level yet. You know, I've only been in CAW for 8 years. I have plenty of
No,
time to
you
win a world title.
no, you're at that level. You're at that level. You just need to keep working.
Yeah.
You've got this. You got this championship title. You're the greatest on record, the greatest JTV hardcore champion in the history of car and PvP, hands down, the greatest, number one. You know, you've held on to that championship. I've lost count. It's
3 years
definitely
too long.
it's been a long time that you've been champion. Um, are you going to lose it? Of course, at some point you're going to
Oh
lose
yeah.
it. That's everybody. You know what I mean? But what they can't take away is the record that you've created within this document. JTV is a document. You've created a record within that document that stands unto the end of time, and that is you being the longest reigning hardcore champion. You taking that championship and reestablishing it and making it important. You know what I mean? So it's there, and we're going to continue putting emphasis on that division, and we're going to continue working with you in terms of the world championship. You're there. You've been there. It's just that some time ago you kind of let yourself go a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But you're there. You just have to keep working. You've been more passionate and determined than you've ever been. So it's not that you need to get there. You're there. You know, it's
Mm.
just it's a matter of when is that opportunity going to present itself. You know, I mean, right now, if you look at the landscape of the pro wrestling circuit here, Shendon is the guy. He's got the heavyweight championship title in both of those brands, you know, in 19 and in JTV wrestling. So he's the guy to go after. But if you or anyone is going to go after Shendon, you got to bring an army of yourself because it's not going to be a walk in the park. You know what I mean? Going after Shendon
Oh
is like
man,
playing
and I
like
believe that
yeah.
I fought Shen
You kind of
before.
cutting out. Say
I
that
fought
again.
him
You was
out. You
cutting out.
know, it's
Okay.
I've wrestled against him in different promotions. I've teamed with him. Like I know how good he is.
Yeah.
I know exactly how good he is.
Even Shannon himself agrees that you're at that level. So there you go.
Thank you, Shen.
You got the world heavyweight champion, and then you got me telling you that you're at that level. We know you're at that level. You just got to keep bringing fire.
Yeah,
All
and you
everybody's
know,
questions, by the way, all your questions are going to get answered. I'm noting them. I have 7 questions noted. We're going to get to your questions, but right now
and
we're
that's
just
all of
talking.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and that's something I need to do. I agree with Shendon there. Quit downgrading myself, and I think very, very negatively about myself. And I've had many people. Hell, I even have my girlfriend. I've had my family. I have all you guys saying you got to stop doing that. And there's Mark. You know, stop downgrading yourself. You're a good human being. You're talented. And I have a lot of self hatred from a lot of personal issues.
This is CJ
And
Mondo,
yeah, I
by the way.
do. I do gotta practice. I do gotta practice. I might, when this podcast is over, I'm probably gonna train with the guys, see if they're up for a match or two, just so I can get better. Because I would love to get better. Do I
I, I
think I
think
could get better? Yeah, I'm
I think
positive. I know I can get
I
better
think you I think you
because
said
I do want.
earlier.
My goal in JTB is to yeah.
Oh no, go ahead. I cut you off. My bad.
Oh, no, no, it's okay. My goal in JTB is to hold every title at least once. I like to win the Z Division title. I like to win the TV, the total, the tag titles, the world title. Maybe maybe the 5-star championship, but that's not on my radar at the moment. Right now, what I'm focused on is the hardcore title, and the day I lose that, I want to try and look for something else. I'd like to form a team with someone, and there's a lot of talented people here on JTV. You have Mark Bannon, you have Dan Rapture, you have CJ Mundo, and the problem is, okay, so who do I want to team up with to take down the Seals, or three-way deadlock if they end up winning the titles? Who could I possibly team up with?
Right.
But back to what you were saying.
Okay. Well, I like what you're saying, and in terms of my credit plans for you, I think you're going to be very happy where we're going into
Hmm.
next year. I definitely have a lot of big plans for us on this channel into next year. If you notice, CJ Mondo or somebody kind of called me out on that the other day, and I didn't say much to it, So I'm really much keeping it under wraps. I was asked, what is the? It was CJ Mondo who asked. He was like, "What is the future of JTV or something like that?" And I do have plans. And for those that know me, know that I'm telling the truth because anytime I say that, I always prove it. So there's definitely good plans going forward. Um, I'm just not going to put it all out there just yet. But I think you're going to be very happy with that. And we have quite a few questions, and we have a lot of questions that could take us into the end of the show. Seven questions is a lot. I mean, you could make 2 hours out of 7 questions.
Well, yeah,
So
I'm excited.
we do we do appreciate it, but um, I guess you can answer this question right now. Shandon asked, "Why you like cheese so much, Colin?"
That's a good question. I don't want to sound weird or anything, but holier the better.
I
Yeah,
think that's a nice, fair, short answer.
but I don't know. I just thought about because Colin's a comedic character. He's a freaking goofball. It's why you guys love him. And there's a lot of goofy stuff I like him to do. There's but there's gonna be a time where he's gonna stop doing that crap.
Right.
There's gonna be a time, but that time isn't now, and it's not gonna be for a while. I like
This is
being
the.
your comedic baby face. I like making you guys laugh. I like saying cringe things and making you guys think like, "What's wrong with this guy?"
Hey, I'm gonna make sure your John Cena heel turn doesn't flop.
Oh,
Shout
I
out to
hope
you,
not.
Triple H.
For
Yes, sir.
retire or something. I just hope that if I decide to do a retirement tour, well, I know you're gonna do good with that.
I take a lot of pride in all my people, so I have to. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't. Um, we have CJ Mondo saying that I can definitely see you as world champion on JTV, Colin. So
One
you
day,
get a lot of love and respect, and it's interesting that you're speaking of a potential heel turn. You know, man. From my understanding, I don't think you being a heel is a bad idea. I have heard that said by individuals, and I also understand that there has been promotions out there who have flopped your heel turn.
oh
Um,
yeah,
that's not me saying that. That's just what I've heard, what I've been told. That
I've
that
said
is
it
it is
too, and many people
okay.
I've heard many people here tell me that they'll tell you, man, not gonna lie, but your heel run in this promotion sucked. I'm like, oh yeah, it did. I really
Right.
should have thought about it. I wasn't thinking that do that a lot. I do things without thinking. But
I mean,
what other
I can just
questions?
imagine. I can just imagine how epic it could be. Just your heel turn. So much can come out of it. You know.
Yeah, it just has to be done right.
Yeah. So I don't know how that could have been flopped, but I mean, if it happens, it happens. But we do have questions, but before we get to any questions, I got to make sure that you're done making your statement on what you want to say. So
Yeah.
when you're done, we can move on. So you let me know.
Well, Mark said I could see Colin pulling a Doink the Clown gimmick. Uh, I don't really want to do a clown gimmick, if I can be honest with you. I
Yeah.
That's not. I don't want to do a clown gimmick. I mean, if you guys want me to, I'll give it my all. I'll do the best. I could probably pull it off, but that's really something I don't want to do creatively. But if I
Well, we
was
don't
gonna
want you.
do,
We don't want to
if I was
force
gonna,
you to do something you don't.
yeah, if you wanted me to do something like a Heath Ledger Joker gimmick, I could try my best. I'm probably not gonna do it as good, but it's something I don't want to do.
Would you like me
I
to
have
introduce you as Joker?
introduce me as however you want, Murray. What else do we got here?
We're gonna get to the questions, but I just want to make sure that you're done. If
Oh
you're,
yeah, I'm done.
we'll focus on all that. You sure you're done saying what you wanted to say?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can move on. We're 1 hour and 11 minutes into the show. Uh, Chris Conscience says so. Colin is kind of like our truth. CJ Mondo says I can see Colin do something that Mark Bennett can't do, and that's beat Amber Rocks.
Oof.
Gee, that's a tough one. Um,
Amber's tough. Amber's very tough. She's beat the crap out of me on 2K multiple times. And in arm wrestling. She's very, very strong.
I agree. All right, I guess we'll get to some of these questions then. So if you guys got more questions, pile them on. We're gonna get to this first one by CJ
What
Mondo, and
other
CJ
questions we
Mondo,
got here?
he asks, "What does Colin Klein think about
Yeah.
what call community could do to fix issues to make it a better place and less negativity in call?"
Hmm. I think communication is key, and if something toxic is going down, if you think someone's being toxic, you gotta just let people know. And unfortunately, I'm guilty of that. I don't want to. There's times where I'm afraid to open my mouth because I don't want to start drama. But unfortunately, some people they need to be put. Like I don't want to put them in the spotlight, but if they're causing shit, and lying, and just like stirring the pot, they have to be put on the spotlight. They have like wrestlers court almost. They need to be talked to, and if that continues, they have to be kicked out. But to be honest, how could you fix issues? I don't know. I don't. I'm. I think you have to think about that from a booker perspective, and I'm not much of a booker. If I was ever going to book a show, I'd probably use the classic wrestlers on the roster. I'd use the legends. And how I see it, if or you just make your own characters and like how you did with JTV back in the day. The way I see it, your characters ain't going to give you any drama unless you want them to. The characters that you create. Because you have a lot of people that want to be world champion. You know, man, I should be getting this opportunity. This guy, he kind of sucks. I think he should be buried. I don't think he should even be here politicking. But I guess another good one is to just be careful who you give creative control to because power does go to your head. Think of all these famous people that have become celebrities. They get all this money. It goes to their head. It shows them who their true colors are eventually. And I remember I was in a party with Jay, and he said, if someone lies to me, I'll find out about it sooner or later. Just be truthful. If you lie, that is going to come out sooner or later. And if you are found out to be lying, good luck. You're going to need it.
That
You're going
that
to,
that
I hope you have
that would
enough
be me,
shit to
Kevin
back
Impact.
yourself up.
By
But
Jay,
that's,
you mean Kevin Impact,
yeah, Kevin. Why the hell do I keep calling you that? God damn it.
right?
Sir, you're my brother, man. I've known you for that. I've known you as that. So my
Yes,
apologies.
that's fine. We just got to be specific on there, sweetheart. You know.
Yeah.
All right. So you is that all you want to say about that
Yeah,
topic?
yeah,
You sure?
yeah. I'm positive.
Okay. So that's for CJ Mondo. Um, so take that off of my notes. So our next question is going to be from Shendon. Shendon is asking question to Colin. What made you enjoy writing so much as you did on so many pages? Is there something you have completed?
I actually just completed a zombie script not that long ago.
Oh, that's dope.
Yep, it's about 2 hours and 40 minutes long. It
Man,
has
well,
like 40,000 words. I'm trying to edit it, make it presentable because there's a lot of spelling mistakes. What made you enjoy writing so much? I remember back when I was in grade school, they wanted me to make a 3-page short story, and I made a 15-page one. Unfortunately, I never really discovered how much I liked in writing until it was too late. I remember when I went to college for video game design, and that didn't work out well. I should have went to college for script writing. I wasn't thinking at the time. I mean,
right,
a lot of people do that. They do things without thinking, and I'm a big perpetrator of that. But I remember writing scripts. The biggest I've ever written was that zombie script. I was writing a Godzilla one that was over an hour, and then I decided, you know what, man, I have a better idea for this story. I was gonna have where he was some big angry monster, but I wanted to kind of build into that where he was like a victim of the bomb, right?
right.
And I'm actually rewriting it right now. That's probably gonna take me about a year or two. I'm not trying to rush anything. You can't rush creativity because if it turns out to be rushed, it's gonna be dog shit.
Right.
And when did I start writing scripts? I started writing scripts when I was around 16 in high school. I wrote a superhero script and it was crap. And I tried to learn. I looked up tips and pointers on how to write a proper script, and I couldn't understand any of it. I'm still trying to teach myself. I have a learning disability, so I'm trying to be patient with myself. I'm still researching this, but that's the answer to your question. I love writing. I'll continue to write. I enjoy writing promos. I can't do a live action promo for the life of me because I always end up stumbling over my words and I can't remember anything I say.
Right.
I remember Nick Kaiken. I remember Nick Kaiken. I don't know if he's in the chat or not, but he told me you could pass for a voice actor, and I could do very creepy voices. I can be very creepy. I can be very comedic. And I thought to myself, if Jay ever needs like a creepy serial killer villain or whatever for his movie, I'm the guy.
And by Jay, you mean Kevin Impact, of course.
God damn it, Kevin Impact,
Yes, sir.
specificity, Colin, specific.
All right.
Specific. Yeah,
So
I can't say that word.
so there's your answer to your question, Shunda.
Yes.
We'll move on to the next one. CJ Mondo asks, "What dream match Colin Klein would have in JTV against? Well, what are your dream matches that you have?"
I would like to fight CJ Mondo. Amber
Mm,
Rocks is another one. Mr. Amazing, Shendon, Mark Bannon. Well, here's the thing. I wrestled Mark Bannon, but that was on 19, not technically on the main show, but I would love to have a match. Love, 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 love to have a match with Mark Bannon on the main
it's
roster because we always have a
always a
good
dream
match.
match. Yeah, it's always a dream match with Mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that guy, he's the, I mean, he's good. Why do you think he's been world TV champion for 2 years?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I'm
Mark's
not
the
trying
man,
to
no doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to toot his own horn or kiss his ass or nothing. I'm just being honest, and that guy's like an older brother to me. He's helped me out a lot with my character, and I appreciate him for that. That guy's always had my back.
And he's been total champion, and I think he was C division champion, if I'm not mistaken, before
Yeah,
he
he was
took
a
a
double
break.
champion. He was a double
So
champion.
so Mark is not just a regular person. This is someone who's had success in JTV. He's been champion, 3
Yeah.
championships. You know what I mean? And there's potential for him to be world tag team champion at some point. You know, he could have been world tag team champion once upon a time. You know, but he just needed a better partner. You know,
Yeah.
and
You know,
so he's the
you
man.
do
I agree.
yeah, you do what you can with the things you're given. It's not always going to be chicken salad. You know, you got to do. You know, it's not always going to gel together. Instead of gel, you might get slime. You know what I mean?
Right. Sometimes you get chicken shit and you got to eat it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Imagine all the people
Let's
that
see
are
what
like in some other promotion eating shit and they don't know JTV exists. You know what I mean? It's a little sad,
yeah.
but I mean that's just how things are, you know, and you learn and understand things. Um, but I mean, is that it? Are you done with that question?
Oh no, there's like I cherish every match I have with everyone,
Yeah,
and I get excited for all these new talent coming in. You know, if I have to get up at if I have to get up at 4 in the morning to help train someone, I'm happy to do it. I love
right.
being here. I love the talent here. I would love to be. You know, I'm very close friends with a lot of people here: Shendon, Amber
Yeah.
Rocks, Mark Bannon, CJ Mundo. The list goes
So
on. I
you,
have many great friends here.
so you
Kevin
and
Impact, you
CJ,
included.
thank you, sir. So you and CJ have a good relationship. You get along.
Oh yeah. Um, he's actually tapped me out. He's tapped me out. Alex King is another one I would love to have a match with. You can't forget about him. He's very talented. Owner of PWA. If you guys don't know PWA, give it a look. You know, really good universe
Indeed.
mode show. Um,
And he
uh,
wrestles here under the ring name Jason King.
Jason King, yes sir. And Alpha Wolf, if you guys know WWU, another universe mode show I'm part of.
Oh, I love
Um,
Danny. We've been
Yeah,
talking a lot
when
lately.
he's really polite. He's a great commentator. I would love to hear you guys do a commentate a match together one day. One
I've
day.
been trying to get him on here, but he's shy. Man, how the hell are you
Man,
shy? I was
I,
watching the show the other day and he was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, this match is going to be amazing." I'm like, "Yo, like you sound normal." And he said, "Yeah, I sound normal on there, but when it comes to a podcast, it's like I don't know. He freezes or he gets a certain way." I'm like, you know, all you got to do is just trust, man. You know, just
mm,
trust me one time, you'll see. You know, there's a
and
lot of people that I met the first time that were wrestling for this promotion. They were scared to do promos, and then little by little, I made it to where they're comfortable. And then they was just like, I don't know what I was so worried about. Shendon
yeah,
was one of those guys, as a matter of
you
fact.
gained that confidence. That was another one I think.
Yeah,
Well, I'll talk to him because he tells here and there. He asks me, "Hey man, what you think of the show? What you think of the commentary? What you think of the matches?" And I give him honest feedback. I'll have to talk to him. I'll have to say, "Yo, man, you gotta go on Kevin Impact's City of Impacts because I think you make a terrific guest. Trust me."
absolutely. Would love to have him on here. The owner of WWU. So there it is, Danny. I know you check this channel from time to time. I appreciate it, but Colin Klein says you got to come to the city, man. We got some good chicken here, some Cuban food. We got
Hmm.
some Jamaican food. You know,
We
come
got
on
all the
down, man.
fixings.
We got some halal food. Shout out to all the Habibis. You know what I'm saying? They be holding it down at the bodega and at the little cuchi frito and the chicken spots. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody. Um,
We have a poutine that's to die for, man. The best poutine you ever eat.
I might have a question of something I want to ask. I'll save it for later. Remind me. But any more dream matches?
Hmm. I fought Maverick. I think that would be it.
Okay. All right. Very good. So there are Colin Klein dream matches right there for that question. Okay. So if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. We have plenty of time to answer them. Um, so yeah, we're gonna move on to the next question. Uh oh, I see my name. The next question says, "Can you tell me more about the City of Impacts?" Okay, so if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. We have plenty of time to answer them. So yeah, we're gonna move on to the next question. Uh oh, I see my name. The next question says, "Can you tell me more about the City of Impacts?" This question goes to both Kevin Impact and Colin.
Uh-oh.
I don't. Okay, well, I think we just answered it. So if if he's asking me my dream matches, I've done that, on his podcast and stuff like that. This is not about me. This is about you. So I'm not going to answer it this time. I've already answered them. Um, but maybe on the next one you can ask me, or maybe if we have time later, I'll answer that question. I'll answer that question again just for him. Maybe later. So we're going to move on to Mark Bennon, who says, Colin, question: what's the biggest issue with call to you? I think you already
Well,
answered that. But
yeah,
let's see.
I did. But another issue would be loyalty
Oh yeah,
and unprofessionalism. And I'm gonna say for the record, I've been unprofessional in the past. You can ask Dan Rapture that. Dan Rapture is another dream match. I would like to wrestle against John Skinner. I mean, I've already wrestled John Skinner, but the biggest issue with Call to You, I believe I already answered that
yeah,
at the
yeah,
very start of the show. If you guys
yeah,
missed it, rewind.
yeah. If you missed it as my special guest, I'm pretty much kind of like Rosenberg. Is it Rosenberg on Vice City? It's Rosenberg, right? Is it Rosenberg?
Yeah,
His lawyer, his attorney. And
Rosenberg.
I can't remember. I mean, he was coming off of the attorney that was on Carlito's Way with Al Pacino, you know, and they brought it into Vice City. Such a great game, man. We'll probably talk
I
about it
love
a
that
little
game.
bit, but
Yeah.
let me not get you started on Vice City. But I'm kind of like Rosenberg to Colin here. So yes, he did answer this question. You'll have to go back. And what it was is he was referencing some of the pedophiles and some of the strange um, made up fantasy relationships that are made with AI cars and stuff like that and CAW. So if you want to hear about great detail about it, then you'll have to go back to that. But he did answer that question. Um, so we're going to move on from that to the next question. Chris Conscience says, "What do you think about the Madden movie? Have you had a chance to look at it?" Nicolas Cage.
No, sir, I haven't. I'm not. John Madden, he is a legend in football. I'm not a big fan of football. I'm not a real big fan of any kind of sport, to be honest with you.
Right.
If I like to watch wrestling, but I only like to watch the old school wrestling from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 70s, early 2000s, specifically from 2004 to before that.
Maybe you're a fan of maybe hockey jerseys, perhaps.
Nah, I'm not a big fan of hockey either. And that's funny. A lot of people will say a Canadian that doesn't like hockey, do you like maple syrup? And I'll say I don't really care for maple syrup either.
Man, it sounds kind of racist, but I mean, I hear it. I get it.
I'm
I
being
thought I
racist
thought.
towards my own race.
Are you familiar with the Calgary
Sorry,
Hitmen?
Canada, but I don't like maple syrup. Sorry about that. Not sorry, actually.
Are you familiar with the Calgary Hitmen
Yeah,
off of Calgary?
I've gone
Okay.
to a couple of their games.
I'm a fan of their jerseys, whatever
Yeah,
it
their
is that
jersey.
they
I
wear.
like their jersey.
I like how they look because it looks like Casey Jones off of the Ninja Turtles.
I know
I'm
what you're
not.
talking.
I am sort of a sports guy, but I'm not savvy on football and everything else. I shared a brief period in my life coming up before. I mean, it was during JTV, but it was little before I was really doing JTV, in which I was playing NBA Jam on a Genesis, and me and No Kills, No Damage. Look him up. We're
Mm.
playing NBA Street on the PS2. Both excellent games that I recommend. And did baseball. Baseball is like my passion. It's like my second love next to professional wrestling. Um, I've always had a passion and love for baseball. My dad played some baseball in Cuba, and my dad's passion in Cuba was Cuban baseball and Cuban soccer. He loved soccer a lot. Maradona and all these guys that I'm paid the way that he put me on to when I was coming up. And shout out to the newer ghosts, I guess, like Ronaldo and Messi and those guys holding that scene down, and others that I don't know about. And there's a lot of great sports out there, no doubt about it. But not everybody is a savvy sports fan. I'm not a savvy sports fan, but I have a passion and a love for the sports, if that makes sense. I love all sports because it's a spectacle, and I love a spectacle. That's the reason I love UFC. I love boxing a lot. I love the spectacle. I love the traction of an audience being in an arena, and they're going crazy for something. I can only imagine if we were in ancient Greece, or if we was in Athens, what was uh, city of gods. I think it's I think it's Athens, or the Roman Colosseum. Imagine us knowing each other, Colin, and being in the Roman Colosseum. I mean, we would have been bloodthirsty, for
Oh
those
yeah.
guys competing in that arena, killing each other, fighting minotaurs and buffaloes and all this shit, and guys that are like 8 feet tall and all this, you know. So I mean, it was over exaggerated, I believe, but I mean, those were old stories that were told throughout the history of time. So I think that if we lived at that time, all of us would have definitely been together in the Roman Colosseum watching those battles for sure. So I love spectacle. Spectacle is an amazing thing, but this isn't about me. This is about you. So Colin Klein says he is not a sports fan.
No,
But what do you think about Nicolas Cage, the actor who, Nicolas Cage working in the Madden movie?
I love that
I, bel
dude.
I believe so. Yes, Nicolas Cage, who's playing John Madden, who went into the JTV Hall of Fame this year. Um, I love Nicolas Cage
I
because
love Nicolas
he's
Cage. I've seen that majority
yeah, he's close to my heart.
because
I don't know. Oh, he was cutting out. Go ahead.
oh no, I can hear you.
Well, I'll say this and pass you the mic. The reason I love Nicolas Cage is because, um, one of my mom's favorite movie that I enjoyed watching with her was Face Off with him and John Travolta. And anytime I see that film from now to the end of my life, I'm always going to think about her, and it's always going to resonate with me. That what a great film, is Face Off with John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, among all the other great Nicolas Cage films that he's made. You know what I mean? Um, so an excellent, iconic actor, and I cut you off. What were you saying?
Um, knowing that's another movie that Nicolas Cage is in, I don't think I could watch that movie because it would probably scare me because it's kind of like about the sun wiping everyone out. And if you know me from the past, I've had fear about the sun dying, and
Yeah,
that was before I got myself on medication. That was like one of my biggest fears. It would keep me up at night.
yeah, yeah. I'm a fan of that movie.
Yeah, I
You
don't think
know,
I could watch it.
he's made a few
But
similar
moving
ones.
on.
He made the Da Vinci Code and all kinds of stuff like that. That were similar. He's made a few similar films, but
After
oh, you can hear me? I think he said I was cutting out. He's the one that's cutting out for me. Can you hear me, Colin?
Mhm.
Are you
I can hear
sure?
you.
Okay, so
Yeah, I can hear you.
yeah, he's made similar films, but I mean, no doubt about it, Nicolas Cage is a amazing actor, and props and respect for him. So let's move on to the next question. Next question comes for Colin Klein. For Colin, when is you and Perry got to make up and be the friends again? That's a bit of a
Never.
dumb question,
Next
but
question. Never. Next question. She dropped a bucket
uh,
of water on my face.
all right. So we don't have other questions. I have one other question to ask, and then we could just go forward. The next question is going to be Chris Conscience asks, "What do you think about Power Rangers versus Aliens as a movie? What do you think of that
I've never
concept?"
been big into Power Rangers, but I never been big into Power Rangers, but I love Aliens.
Right.
Freaking been a big fan of Aliens since I was a kid. Alien, Predator. I think it could work. Um, they actually they made a Godzilla versus Power Rangers comic book, and I would like to collect that one day. I think a Power Rangers and Aliens comic book would work well, but then again, Power Rangers, it's I don't know if there's ever been an R-rated Power Rangers because if you're gonna mix that with Aliens, you got to make that rated R because Aliens they'll just tear anything to pieces.
Yeah.
But I would be open. I think as a comic book, it would work. As a movie, I'm not quite sure about because I like
Yeah.
to think about what would make sense and what wouldn't make sense. And a movie about that, I'm not so sure. But a comic book, yeah, go for it. If you can make it work, do it.
I think you will have to get the right team behind it.
Yeah,
It would definitely need metaphors and stuff like that. It would need side quests, side stories to build it into a main story and make it compelling and interesting. I
yeah,
mean, I like to think any idea could be taken and it could be made into something great. I don't know. I'm positive like that. That's the reason I believe in a lot of y'all. But it sounds bad. A Power Rangers Aliens movie sounds so bad, but I think that if you get the right people behind it, it could be a blockbuster hit.
yeah,
I was happy when the Sonic the Hedgehog movie didn't tank. It was an absolute success, and there's films that I guess tanked that people think are bad, and I just don't agree with it. Like there are people hate Joker 2, and I think Joker 2 is a modern classic. Joker 1 and 2 are two amazing fucking films. I'm a fan of both of them, you know? And they had issues with Lady Gaga being on there and stuff like that. I thought she did a great job. I think both of them did. The musical stuff, of course, was kind of cringe, but it was passable. It wasn't so bad. And I'm someone that I like theater as well, so it just worked for me, I guess. I don't know, but I thought it's a great film, and there are films that I think shouldn't have been made. Like I didn't like that Chadwick Boseman passed away, and they thought that they should make another Black Panther. That's why I have not watched it, and I won't watch that movie. I'm not gonna watch any of their movies anymore. I'm not gonna support that. To me, Black Panther is always gonna be Chadwick. That's his role, and out of respect for him, when he passed, the right thing to do, in my opinion, was you should have just left that alone. I understand that money's on the table and this is work and that's a job. I get that, and there are contracts and agreements, stuff of that nature. I like to be realistic. You know what I mean? I like to, because that's important. Because anybody can say anything, but you have to look at the facts presented. Because the facts presented is always going to dispute over what your opinion is. Just because you say that Kevin Impact is a bad person doesn't mean it's true, especially if you have evidence to prove that it's not true. So that's just kind of like my point there, that um, his legacy, respect for him should have came first before any job of any kind.
agreed.
That should have been a project that should have been discontinued after that. You want to say something?
No, I agree with that. It's just what I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, you could disagree if you want to. That's my opinion, but I'm just saying that I would have just left it alone after that, out of respect for him when he passed. Um, I guess it was a bit of a tribute to him and stuff like that. But I think that they should have just continued with the story differently. and that's where they should go. Make the story about somebody else. You know, you could do a Killmonger spin off, whatever, but just leave the Black
Yeah.
Panther alone out of respect for him. And that's just my opinion. He's a hero. He's a modern hero. We didn't get in the last 10 years or so, last 15 to 10 years, we didn't get a lot of heroes in film and picture that stood out, so to speak, and can go into that very illustrious, limited classroom roster of people who were icons in film, like Jean Claude Van Damme and Arnold, Sylvester Stallone, and you know a lot of Denzel Washington, a lot of these great actors, that hold shit down. I think
Yeah.
uh, Pedro Pascal, Pedro is like a modern hero, and the guy from Punisher, John Bernthal, who played Shane in Walking Dead, is a modern hero, a modern badass. And I think that Chadwick fell into that category of actors in film. He was one of those guys that stood out because you get a lot of cliche vulgarity bullshit now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll push top NBA stars and this actor and this person, and I don't even know who the hell it is. You know what I mean? And people will be going crazy. Like sometimes I get chewed out because there'll be rappers that I don't know who they are. And to me, if I don't know who you are, you haven't made it because all these. Oh Jesus Christ! There's a plane that's kind of flying, like kind of tilted. That always worries me when I see that. God bless those people on there. But yeah. So you get a lot of bullshit, and you get a lot of celebrities that get pushed, and nobody really knows who they are. And I think that pop culture stood the hands of time. Pop culture is something that it makes icons. You know what I mean? Pop culture will make icons, absolutely. And it doesn't matter where, because even when I was coming up and watching WWF, you would have people on there I didn't know who they were, and now they're presented as someone. And then later on, you find out, oh, this is this person. Oh, look, Dennis Rodman is on WCW or this. There's someone, a celebrity that just has charisma. There's a lot of celebrities now that have zero charisma, that they can't get over in pop culture, so to speak. And Chadwick was one of those guys that did. And not only did he get over, but he was an amazing human being. And he inspired me because he was a badass, because he was dealing with cancer and he kept it to himself. He was subliminal about it in his interviews, but he kept it to himself as a real man. So I'm always going to honor him and respect him. And I'm glad that we was able to represent him in Stan Lee's last comic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that makes me feel really good. So excuse me for taking your time on
Oh,
that,
you're good.
but that's just my take on that. And a Power Rangers alien movie sounds bad, but I think it could be done if properly produced and written. Okay, so let's see if these guys have any more questions that I missed. Dan Ratcher has one. You still with me, Colin?
Yep, I'm still here. Just waiting.
Okay, so here's a question from Dan. He says, "How do you feel about Godzilla gimmick after you retire Cluckety Climb?" What? I don't even understand that question.
I don't know how that would work. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess just being angry and wanting to destroy people, but I don't, because like I said before, I want to see, in my mind, I try to think about what works and what doesn't work, and to me, that wouldn't work. I have a couple characters in mind if I ever turn heel, but that's not one of them. I don't think I can make that work. I don't think anyone can make that work. I love Godzilla. If you want to cosplay as him, like come out to the ring dressed as him, that's all fine and dandy. But as an actual gimmick, that wouldn't work anywhere. Not in any time, not in any time zone. But cosplaying, I would like to cosplay as him one day. Come out with a themed jacket if they ever put spikes on a jacket or whatever. Next question.
We don't have a next question at this point in time. At this point, we're just shooting the shit, if you will. You know, until we do have
Mm.
a question. But I mean, people laughing and some agreements. Um, we're just shooting the shit. You know, we'll probably close the show out in about an
Mm.
hour, 15 minutes. We have an hour, 15 minutes before we
Yeah.
close the show, so we got time. If there's anything else you would like to say and talk about, I mean, we could talk about whatever we want. That's what's so fun about this, that
Yeah.
there's nothing specific that we stick
Oh,
to.
I have a question.
All right.
I have a question. How's the
For me,
suntan? Yeah.
ain't got no suntan. It's fucking snowing. You know what I mean? What I
Well, you ain't got my money either. So tell me, what are you doing?
what I'm doing is retaining this suntan that I currently have because my brown pride
Hmm.
ass, my black ass, since I'm not as bright as you are, I keep a suntan, especially under my eyes, that are darker than the
I'm too
Undertaker's
bright.
soul. You know what I mean?
You go into a you if you're playing a video game, you say, "Hey, Colin, come here. Let me shine Let me use you as a flashlight. I'll light the room right up. Shining star."
Man,
Oh, looks
I
like
tell
Nick
you,
Ken has a question.
I mean, there's some channels out there where they'll say some fake shit and they'll be all in character and all this stuff about it, man. I just want to come on here and just say, man, kiss my ass. That's all. Thank you. All right, let's see what other comments y'all got. Any questions from anyone? We could talk about anything. I have a question for Colin. Since y'all don't have no questions, I have a question. So, um, holy shit, did I forget that question? Well, I'll just say this. What you thought of the WCW show?
I
Did you get a
loved it.
chance to see it?
Yeah, I saw it. I love that Ravens rules match.
Yeah,
That Raven rules gauntlet match. That
yeah.
was probably my favorite match out of the whole thing.
You just don't see shit like that in wrestling,
Guys, I love chaotic matches. I love
Yeah,
matches where people just get weapons and they do whatever the hell.
yeah, it's fun. Yeah, that was a fun match. Entrances, people getting jumped in the entrance, weapons everywhere, chaos everywhere. You know what I mean? All these wrestlers coming out of nowhere, and then everybody's a legend in the match. And you don't see 30
Yeah,
person gauntlets like that. You know what I mean? And these are the innovative things that's missing in wrestling that we're trying to do. Like you have to be different. You got to create a new standard. And when me and No Kills was coming up in JTV, that was always kind of like our goal. We wanted to create like a new standard and add on to what was already there. And in wrestling, it's not about that anymore. It's just about making money and it's about kissing ass more than ever. And it's about just kind of the hype and popularity of the shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And like if I have to give an example, it's like, oh, we're not going to make a new match even though we know that that's how you keep the business going. It's just like, oh, Charlotte Flair's in the match or Seth Rollins is in the match, so by default it's already match of the year. No, that's not how that works. Wrestling is about innovation. I think the Ultimate X and TNA really helped them. The six-sided ring really helped them because it made them unique and their unique style. You know what I mean? And then you had AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Chris Sabin, and the Motor City Machine Guns and guys like that, Shark Boy. All those guys were not generic. They were innovators. They were new blood, a new beginning, a new chapter, a new Wes Craven, if you will, and
yeah.
what was going on in wrestling. So I think that the 30-person gauntlet Ravens Rules match was something very innovative. And I'm still saying this. I said it then. I'm saying it again. It was bigger than the Royal Rumble. You know what I mean? Like the 30-person gauntlet was just
Yeah,
insane compared to it made the Royal Rumble look like a little bitch. It made the Royal Rumble look like kindergarten. You know what I mean? And it's just I think that the reason, I mean, I think it already hit 700 views. Snow
I
Showdown has
have.
hit 700. It's hit 700 views. It's the biggest show of the
Damn.
year, and I'm very proud because me and Constance, all of us, we work very hard. We deserve the love, and some might say it's not enough. We deserve millions, billions of views. We
I
work very
agree.
hard for that. So it makes me feel good. I take pride in that. But I think if it's been successful, it's because it was produced, it was written, the right people was on it, and it was made in a way where like that's how wrestling should be today. You know what I mean? Snow
Yeah.
Showdown was an example. That was a gift to Triple H if he gets a hold of this. You know what I mean? And all their creative team and Tony Khan and everybody who's in charge of wrestling. You are running a business. I'm just some dweeb on the internet. You know what I mean? I'm just some kid with an extra D, a big D. You know what I'm saying? On the internet that's just running my mouth. And you guys are an absolute conglomerate. You're a company. You're a business. You know, if I was ever working for you guys, I mean, I'm calling shit out. So don't hire me. I'm calling shit out, and we're going viral, and we're going to be making billions. And I'm going to be calling people out, and I want the very best TV that I possibly can. I want pop culture TV. I don't want this fucking PG TV. You know, so just Snow Showdown is working because that's what people need in wrestling. A style like that, an innovative style, the unpredictability. I mean, Jesus Christ, a segment with the no kill stuff and Jada Nix. That was dope. That was dope. Steve O getting choked out, and you know, Conscience was looking over and seeing the BKS warning. Lex Luger's there, and CJ Mondo's in the building, and you got Ric Flair and me going back and forth, which I thought was dope. And it's really Ric Flair. Like it was really them talking. It was really Kevin Nash talking. Vince Russo was talking. Eric Bischoff and Mike Tenay. You know what I'm saying? Like I love technology today. It is truly, truly amazing the things that we can do. And when you're creative, you can be able to do those things, and that's what I invite car owners to do. I don't invite you to be a little fucking bitch and to lie about me and to destroy a car. I invite you to everybody to improve your game, welcome your craft, and just try to be as creative as you can and present new ideas. Innovation is how the world moves. You know what I mean? Think about it. The first car, the first plane, you know what I mean? The first computer. So Apple computer, all these innovations that have taken place, the cell phone, throughout the history of time. Google, YouTube, you know what I mean? The platform that we are on right now. Right now, you and I are talking, Colin, on one of the most iconic, legendary platforms in the world is YouTube, and we're live on it. You know what I mean? Like you have to understand shit. So I understand the psychology of innovation, and that's what's missing in a lot of wrestling shows today. That innovation, that psychology, to be daring, to go there, to challenge, to not be afraid to get canceled, to not be PG, to present character, to use character in the right way. The segment with Tessa Blanchard and Tully Blanchard, her father, and then you got David Flair and Crowbar. Not only are they paying tribute to Daphne, but they come out batting the shit out of the whole four horsemen. Nobody expected it. Nobody saw it coming. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's just assuming. So what is David Flair doing here? Is him and Rick gonna fight? What is happening? And then out of nowhere, a whole faction is formed, taking everybody out. JJ Dillon didn't even get to finish his beer at ringside. You know what I'm saying? So you can see that the way we write wrestling on this channel is definitely pop culture, it's influence, and it's a lot of knowledge that we've acquired because it's not just me. It's me talking to people like Chris Conscience. It's me getting feedback from people like CJ Mondo. It's me listening and watching people like you in the ring and seeing what it is that people like and love. You know, so it all panned together. The tributes was big. The tribute to Dusty Rhodes and Eddie Guerrero. You know, everything that we did, people felt the emotion, and that emotion, I believe, is missing for professional wrestling today. And I'm
Yeah.
very happy that we get to have this channel and we get to disseminate a product like that. And I'm excited for when JTV comes back. Our next show is going to be Lucha Underground. Stop playing with me, Colin. Stop playing with me. You know what I mean? Stop playing with me, man. So that's what we need. We need that pop culture type of wrestling, because that's how you can contribute to the pop culture and the dynasty of professional wrestling. You're not going to contribute by having someone kiss the fucking boss's fucking ass and then they get put on TV and they can't cut a promo, or
Mhm.
they could barely wrestle, or they're like a tasteless talent. You know, I tried to watch wrestling. I'd be passing the fuck out, and it's not just because I'm an old man, you know, older guy. You know, it's just the shit fucking sucks. You know, and it bothers me. It's not just that I want to tear them apart. It just bothers me because the wrestling could be so much better. This I want it to be better. I don't want wrestling to die. You know what I'm saying? I want it to be better. And you know, we just we just don't get it because everything is just so fucking fake now. And
Mhm.
on this channel, we expose it and we talk about it. We talk about a lot of that fake shit on here. This is the city of impact. Stop playing with me. Let me turn around and see if anybody has any questions that I've missed. Who's that in the bottom? Oh, we got Damian Taylor in the house. Chris Conscience references David Flair hitting the figure four leg lock on his father Ric Flair at the Snow Showdown event, um, which was the ultimate insult to injury. You know what I mean? Because after they beat the shit out of him with those bats, like imagine him being put in a figure four. You know what I mean? And I thought it was well produced because Ric Flair looked so badass just getting beat by all of them, and he still kept getting up. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I just thought it was great, man. It was tough, but I had a lot of fun, and it shows. It shows in the views. Um,
Well, one thing I do have some ideas for matches. I would like to do a match. It's almost like a rumble, but you have to toss someone on exploding minds to eliminate them.
hey, with what you saw at the WCW, I mean, we're capable of doing a lot of things, but so keep a lookout as we head into the new year. First wrestling show of the new year is going to be JTV 19, Lucha Underground, once again.
I'm looking forward to that.
So me and Shannon still have not met yet. I like to be honest. You know, I think it's very important. Me and Shannon have not met yet. We're looking to meet very soon and to talk about the event, and we're going to get ready for it. And so look out for that. Everybody that tuned into the WCW show, look out for that. We're going to be coming back strong, and we're going to be doing it for the culture. We're going to be in Mexico City, and I got surprises. I'm gonna make some phone calls, and we got some plans. You know what I mean? Chris Conscience already mentioned that he put the order out that Jack Black should definitely have his Nacho Libre stuff going on, and I think that you know the creative team definitely took note of that, and I think that the right place for Jack Black to be at is at that Lucha Underground. He's invited. If Jack Black wants to come back, you're invited. I'm just excited because, like I said, the technology is there. We're doing different things, and it's a fun time, man. I've been having a nice time, and we're trying to be positive. And I've been a little hurt because, like you referenced and said in this podcast, like we talked about, you know, CAW has its negatives, it has its ups and downs, and I hate it. You know, I think that the negative stuff is just got to stop. We know it has to stop. It's not going to stop, but we just wish it would stop. We wish that people that we love, that we call our brothers and friends and sisters and whatnot, would stop enabling people that don't give a shit about them and would embrace the love that we're giving them. It has always been that way. We haven't changed the way that we are here in JTV. We just unfortunately have to change our friends, and it's a sad thing. What we're doing here is for the culture. What we're doing here is for the record books, having fun, being positive, just having a nice time, telling stories. That's why people like me and Chris Conscious are in this fucking industry. That's what we want to do. That's our interest. That's why we be saying jokes and whatnot, because, you know, that's just where our head is at. We're not for the drama and bullshit. It's a waste of time. You know what I mean? And that's the reason. Anytime I've dropped my Kevin Impact statements in the past, you know, I've said it to people, and I'll say it again. If I haven't said it, I'm gonna say it right now. I'm gonna tell the truth. I have the Kevin Impact Statement Part 4. I have had the Kevin Impact Statement Part 4 for about a year. I have not released it. I don't plan to release it. There is no point. Is it bad? Yeah. Kevin Impact Statement Part 4 is very bad. I mentioned a lot of people. I still have it. It's a three-part. That's how big it is. Three DVD set. But I didn't
Yeah.
release it, and I don't plan to release it because there is no point. At this point, there is no point. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's going to be very cryptic what I'm going to say. God bless me. Maybe at some point it will release in the future when I'm not around anymore. But I'm not releasing it so long as I'm in charge of this channel. And I don't apologize for anything I've said, but I am not going to release it. And part of the reason I didn't release it is because, I said after part 3 that that was it. I'm not responding anymore, you know. And there were individuals that want to continue running their mobs. I just didn't give a shit about it. Let's put that on record, you know. And I told people it was going to die off, and it happened. This is always the case. Anybody that's ever come at me. And the reason that happens is because it's not about passion for them. It's about hatred. They have hatred in them. They hate themselves before they hate me. They just want to pick me to be a mule. They want to attack me and they want to project their negativity onto me because they hate themselves and they hate their lives. And I just think that that's a horrible fucking thing. I've given love to a lot of people in call that I love you guys to death. I mean, this means a lot to me. But when you're fake and you're on some fucking bullshit, I can't do that. That's just not how I fucking work. I'm not perfect. I've never claimed to be perfect. I make mistakes. I make mistakes like any other fucking human being. But just like Tony Montana said, I never fucked anybody over in my life. That's just how I work. I'm not going to do nothing to you unless you do something to me first. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. So I cherish a lot of my relationships and friendships that I have. And when I can't do it with you anymore, I can't do it. You know.
You get emotionally and mentally drained. You're done with that person. You don't want any more of them.
And I get emotionally attached as well. And
Yeah.
when I get attached and it kind of just doesn't work out, it breaks my heart. You know what I
Same.
mean? Absolutely. Prior
You know,
to
and
Kevin Impact being a tough SOB, I mean, you got to be tough.
yeah,
It's part of the character. But I play Kevin Impact, and I'm the same guy. Me and that character are not too different from each other. It's the same as Stone Cold. It's the same as Steve Williams and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's literally the same person. But I'm not afraid to say that I cry and I hurt and I feel pain just like any other human being and that I make mistakes. Nobody is fucking perfect. And I hate people that are judgmental. And like I said, me and Keith Ocean and Damian Taylor had an excellent conversation this morning about that. We went into great detail. We had a good time talking, and it is my hope that we see Keith Ocean back next year in JTV. But we'll see. We're talking. And basically, um, I don't know if he wanted me to put that out there. Hopefully, there's no pressure. I don't know if he wanted to keep that under wraps, but I apologize. But those are the conversations that I like. That's the type of energy that I match. And that's the reason guys like me and Conscience got along. Me and CJ Mondo got along. You and I get along. Me and Shendon get along. I tolerate him. Kevin Impact don't like him. He don't like Kevin Impact, but I tolerate him. And I get along with people that match that energy, you know. And it's very important to just stick to the positive shit. I mean, you want to go on that sidewalk and you want to stay on that sidewalk because that's how it should be. We should love each other. We should be embracing each other, spoiling each other, celebrating, having fun. It's life, it's living, it's a beautiful thing. Not bullshit ass, toxic, kitty shit, power shit. Like imagine you wanting fucking power in call. Like, it's the virtual world. You know what I mean? It's we don't come here for that. We come here, we have frustration. We come here to release that frustration positively, creatively. You know, we're not here for shit like that. I'm not here for shit like that. And that's the reason why after part three, Kevin Impact's statement, I stopped and I will not release part four. I don't need to release part four. I wanted to, but I don't need to. I have it just in case motherfuckers want to take it to the next level. You know who you are. But there's no reason at this point. There's just no fucking reason. So I'm over it. I'm just looking to be fucking positive and having fun. It's always been the same case. I have not changed. It's the same guy, same person, same thing that I want is still there. The mission is the same. But certain things have changed. What's changed is that I'm now realizing that it's not about what someone did to me anymore. It's about what legacy am I leaving behind. That's the only different. That's the only different thing now, as opposed to 5, 6, 7 years ago. You know, and that's what I told a specific owner to a specific promotion in CAW. You know that I told that person it's not 10, 8, 12 years ago anymore. Our time in CAW is limited, so you got to make the most of it. So bringing in toxic people and doing stuff like that is a waste of time. Don't do it. And I mean, especially people that just are going to use you, you know, and manipulate you. I got some kids over here. My bad. They're running around. So, oh, y'all don't want to be running in the snow. That's dangerous. That's a dangerous game to play there, buddy. But nonetheless, all this shit for me is just about passion. That's why I got into it. Wrestling gave me passion. If it wasn't for wrestling, I'm not sure where I would be. I'd probably be going after pedophiles. I'd probably be like the modern day real life Batman. Going, I could see myself doing something like that, or maybe a writer. For I tried to get into Hollywood, like I said. We did a photo shoot, stuff like that. I tried to audition for the new Mortal Kombat movie. Right before COVID, I did that. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that a passion of mine. I also thought about playing baseball, which is another passion of mine. So it's different things that I got in my head, you know. But professional wrestling is my first love. It is my passion. It is a physical sport that I respect. CAW is my life's work along with you guys. So we have to cherish CAW. We have to respect it. And being around Enrique, um, I can't remember his promotion with CJ Mondo and guys like Daniel from WWU and DJ Chaotic recently, who we've seen on this channel and that I've been talking to, and then consoling from Chris Conscience, conversations with No Kills and Shendon and my whole team, our team, and talking with you is positive, man. You know what I'm saying? It's very positive. There's someone who said something to me last night, and I'm not going to name drop that person because I don't want them to have problems with anyone. But someone told me that this side is positive and they like the vibe, and they're like enjoying it. And me and this person are not exactly seeing eye to eye right now. You don't see me kicking them out. You don't see me trying to bury them. You don't see me trying to get them in trouble. You know what I mean? I like to protect people's integrity. I like to protect the integrity of my friendship with people. You know what I mean? But things happen. Brothers fight. It happens, you know? So I want the best for everybody. I want positive things to happen. I want this fucking world to change. You know what I mean? And I want things to be how they need to be, not how they are. And if I can do anything with this podcast, then I'm going to try to do that. Right now, I'm looking at kids out here in the hood running around in the snow playing. I love that. That makes me happy. I love to see that they're running, playing in the snow. They're going behind the buildings right now doing their thing. It's a tough territory, but you still see life. You still see positive things. You still see stray cats and whatnot in the city, city of impact, if you will. I like that type of stuff. That's what makes me happy. Positive things like that. I wish everybody would just, share that same thought. And inspiration we need it, man. Today, with the way things are, we need inspiration. We need heroes. We don't get to have Stan Lee anymore. We don't get to have Batman. We don't get to have Superman. We don't get to have the X-Men. So we have to be the heroes. We have to be the X-Men. We have to be all of them that inspire the next generation, because inspiration is everything. And these kids are getting a lot of bad inspiration from all this twerking, all these guns, all this stupid ass shit. This shit is garbage. And I mean, all this mumble rap, and get the fuck out of here with this mumble rap bullshit. You know, where's the culture at? Where's the inspiration? Because when Tupac was around, Tupac may have been about the guns and the thug life and all this other shit, but he still told you some real shit. He still advised you to stay in school and get your education up. You know, all the black queens, all the black brothers, everybody that went through shit, struggled in the hood and everything. He was trying to say positive things. And now you have people who shit on him and say, oh, the old rappers is garbage and all this other stuff. You need to get the fuck up out of here with that bullshit before I put Tupac in the JTV Hall of Fame. Stop playing with me. You know what I mean? I'll put Pac and Biggie in the Hall of Fame the same year. All right, just to bring that back, because that's what's missing. And when, for those that want to accuse me of being stuck in the past, if I'm stuck in the past, it's probably because things have changed for the worse, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't watch WWE anymore, you watch WWF instead on YouTube, there's nothing wrong with that. You're not stuck in the past. You just recognize, you know, the difference between a steak and dog shit on the sidewalk. You know what I mean? A tough $5 steak. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. But let me leave it at that. Let me turn around and see if anybody has any questions. Shendon is agreeing, I think, with what I was saying. He says true. Uh, Damian Taylor claims he's the anti-hero. Conscience says, where's the juice? Where's the house party? Shendon says, you bald impact. I don't know what he means by that.
You don't have to take that. I'm just saying you
I'm,
don't have to take that. It's gonna be okay.
I don't know if he's asking you this or me, but Shendon says, what are the things you want to check before you retire? I don't know who he's asking. So since you're the guest on the
I want to
show,
say he's asking me.
yeah, since you're the guest on the show, let's go with you.
Well, I think I already stated before I retire, I would. Well, I mean, I would like to lead a stable one day, um, or at least join a stable to feud with BKS. I would like to hold at least every title in JTV once. Maybe
Yeah,
do a heel run, and
yeah,
I like to do all that before I retire. Because here's the thing about retirement, man. Who knows how long I got? I might have 2 years. I might have 8 years left in me. Who knows?
yeah. I mean, it depends. I mean, I think at this point is however long I have, to be honest, because
Hmm.
as a show creator, it's really up to me. I'm putting in the work and trying to contribute as much as I can, because I recognize that everybody, you know, everybody's that's here on the roster is my responsibility. And if I stop going, it's going to affect a lot of people. So I need to keep going. I need to push. You know, no kills is just getting back and stuff like that. And there's a lot of dream matches people still want to see. And people are still open minded to the possibility of me maybe even coming back out of retirement. So it's in my head. I'm not going to lie about that. I've been thinking about it a little bit. You know, Lex Luger said at the WCW show when I was with Chris Conscience, he said that Ric Flair was following his heart. Maybe I should do the same. You know, it was something that's in my head, and that there's still so much things, that stories that need to be completed, things that need to be said and done, matches that need to take place, and that's the reason I'm pushing. It's important. So, I'm trying to do my part. Uh, Good answer. Shannon says he was also, well, he said I can answer if I want as well. I don't want to answer. I don't. I just don't feel like I want to answer that question at this point in time. I'm not even sure I even want to think about it. But I'm glad that you answered that question, Colin. So If we have any more questions, feel free to ask people whatever you want. You can ask our opinion on things. And make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe if you haven't and tell your friends. This is the last hour of the show. We're going to be closing out the show within the next hour. So this is your opportunity to get some questions. I'll take some questions. I'm not going to answer that question, but I'll take some questions if you want. And Colin Klein is here.
Hello.
Uh, you said what?
I said hello.
Okay, we got a question from Shen. Shen asks, the most per, the mo- the most person was enjoyable to work with. Who did
Hmm.
you like working with the most?
That's a good one. I'm trying to think. I enjoyed working with Corey. I enjoyed working with Mark. Uh, I want to say Maverick,
Yeah.
as we had the one match, and despite all the botches that we had in our last match, I thought our last match that we had was really good.
What botches?
Oh yeah, there was some botches. I remember that table area around on Pumpkin Night. We weren't supposed to go around there, and we went around there anyway. But the match was fun. I thought it was a
A
good
lot,
match.
a lot of it didn't make the air. That's why I said what botches?
Hmm.
Y'all had me editing for hours. What botches? You know, I was pretty pissed. That was at Madison Square Garden. It was a dope arena that we got. We was able to put the entrance right by ringside, and it was different. It was real different. I enjoyed that show a lot. I just didn't enjoy, and it wasn't just you two that pissed me off. AJ Jenkins and Corey Flash pissed me off too for the main event. They were working with Shen. I think all three of them pissed me off to be honest, but they weren't listening and going around an area where I needed them not to work. There was a specific area I didn't want them to go to. It was going to get glitchy. So yeah, it's a lot of editing, but I mean, I think it was worth it. I mean, I think that Pumpkin Night in the Garden was a classic, man. That
Yeah,
arena was just so dope, and I just had fun with it. And if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong about this, but I think it may have been the debut of Axel in the ring.
I think so.
I think he was working like Conville Wolf or something like that, and it was just good. It was just positive things that came out of that. I like that we was able to bring. Not that it's so hard to do, but I like that Convo walked out with a steel chair. Like it's just stuff like that that needs to be normalized in wrestling again. You know what I mean? Having people come out with weapons and stuff. You don't really see a lot of that. You just have watered down PG type of characters that it's just boring. That's why I don't watch.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You need these type of hardcore wrestlers. Like, why do we not have a hardcore division anymore? You know what I mean? You don't have to go over the top, but you can have a healthy hardcore division in wrestling. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So I just don't get it. You could have plastic shit. You know what I mean? You could use fake weapons. You know what I mean? Um, I just don't understand it. And WWE has every reason to have a cruiserweight division come back, and they don't do it. And I just don't. I don't know because it's like a WCW creation. I don't know how they're thinking. I don't know their thought process. I don't see a lot of logic to their thought process, but it's just like a weird thing. So I don't know. It's a weird thing, but That pumpkin night pissed me off, but it was great. It was worth it. I like the girls matches. Ari and Amber, Sophia and Jocelyn, your little girlfriend. They
Hmm.
had a good match, very good match at that show. Um, Most of your matches, I mean, I see you just being able to work with just about anybody. You know what I mean?
I do my
And
best.
yeah, I could see you working with anybody. To be honest, you know, I don't get a lot of bad matches from you. I can't think of any match of yours that I thought was bad.
I appreciate that,
So
man.
it usually goes positive. I mean, I took time to actually think about that, and I can't think of a bad match. Here's a really bad question from Dan. Dan says your plans for for next year. I thought he said before 2026. Plans for next year. Well, what do you plan for 26?
Go after some more titles. Defend the hardcore title and go after some more titles.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. I mean, you've already said some of the stuff you know some of your goals. We don't have to keep going back and forth
Yeah,
with that.
like I'm just going with the flow at this point.
Here's one from Conscience. Go with this flow. Conscience says, "What do you think about if JTV did ZZW? Are you familiar with the CCW brand?"
Oh yeah, I watched a couple of their matches. I have a bunch of matches in mind that involve barbed wire and crap being blown up, people being blown up to light tubes, doors, crap like that. And I would like it. I would like to book a hardcore wrestling show one day, but I want to do that on Wrestling Code. I don't want to do that on 2K unless we like get mods or something.
Yeah.
But
Well, if
I
I
think
could do
that's
it, I
something.
would.
Yeah, I think that's something we need to wait for Wrestling Code, and we'll see what they can. We'll see what they add on there. If we can do like really extreme stuff, then yeah, we'll do it.
I've been getting asked lately about doing an NWA show, and I've said that I'm not NWA savvy. You know what I mean? Ever since because we brought ECW back and did the WCW, and I think people are starting to wonder now. You know, what else can we do? What else can we bring back at this point? And I don't think we need to bring WCW back anymore. I think we could let it rest now. Probably with ECW, the same. I mean, a lot of the guys are getting too old now to bring them
Yeah,
back. WCW, I'm not gonna lie, even though it's a success, I was worried about WCW because I'm like, man, you got a lot of people wrestling on here that are over 60 years old.
yeah,
And I was thinking, have I made a mistake bringing back WCW? I'm like, damn, like, and I realized like it wasn't bad. You know, it's just that everybody's getting old, and my other concern was that somebody was going to pass away before the show comes out. You know, because I had heard like the other week that Constance put something up that the Barbarian died, and
yeah,
he was scheduled to tag team with Meng, who wrestling fans of the modern era know as Haku, and was going up against Paul White and Scott Norton. And I was worried that he did pass away, not just because it would bother me because I like the Barbarian, but also because he was scheduled. So I was really worried. I was hoping that the show would come out and everything would be fine, But if I was to write a ZZW show, I would work with a lot of y'all. But I think, like you said, it would be best in Wrestling Code or um, something like that. Ultra Violence maybe. I think in
yeah,
in one of those games, WrestleSin, which nobody talks about WrestleSin no more, but WrestleSin, he's having a hard time because he had a fire and he lost a lot of his stuff, so he had to restart again. But you know, WrestleSyn was going to be fire. I like WrestleSyn concepts and Ultra Pro Wrestling, Ultra Pro Wrestling. No, Ultra Violence, WrestleSyn, and the Wrestling Code. Those are three companies right there that I think you guys know that I could do creative shit with those companies if we work together. So I would just hope that they hopefully we get something, Colin. Damn, in the new year, man. You know,
I'm
some
hoping.
updates. Give us some damn release dates. Stop playing with us, man. You know, I'll do a
I know.
CZW show. Um, Colin, Mark Bannon says, Colin, we need to break that tie between us, 1-1.
Yeah, we do. Maybe soon. We could do that on maybe one of the Mega Rushes or whatever after Chemical Warfare.
For sure.
Yeah.
John Skinner says, I want to fight you, Colin. When are you going to give me a shot at your championship? Or are you afraid of me?
Yeah, I'm actually really scared of John Skinner. I think he's a great fighter, and I'm not better than him. And yeah, I'm shaking in my boots. I'm scared. I'm
He-
terrified. You ever been in the
he's,
ring with that guy? He's a fucking beast. Holy shit.
I mean, he's lavish. Lavish.
Too lavishing, man. I can't keep up with all that lavishness. Slobber knocker of a match, by God. Who's going to be the referee of that match? Linda? Is Linda coming back? Next question.
Skinner says, I haven't yet got a shot, and I've been demanding a shot for that belt. I think he forgot that things are earned around here.
I mean, Marcus Holloway's been wanting a shot at that. I remember he would be like, Colin, give me a shot. I want a shot. Colin, give me a shot with the title. I want a title shot. Colin, where are you? Give me a title shot. And I'm like, God damn it, you'll get it. If we have to do another Colin Klein Invitational, we'll do it.
We are
I mean,
going to
Dan wants a
focus.
shot at it. Alex King wants a shot at it.
We're going to focus on a more.
Everyone, yeah.
We're going to focus on a more title-driven, competitive JTV scene now that WCW is out of the way, and we're getting ready for Ultimate Showdown. Just about when we get Chemical Warfare done, things are going to get more competitive in that sense. I think it's probably going to start with this JTV 19, but it's really going to more take place into Chemical Warfare, and there's going to be more title matches next year, and there's going to be more opportunity. And I want to get things going in that sense. You know, there's a lot of things storyline wise I had to get out of the way, things that I had to complete, and now that I'm like at the end of it, we can focus on other things. So I think I'm going to be paying attention to who wants it, but I'm also going to be paying attention to who's actually making the effort to get it. You know what I mean? It's a lot of y'all that, you know, the effort is just not there. The support is just not there. You know, you got to do more. If you want more, you got to do more. Any other questions from anyone? We're going on the last 31 minutes. We're going to close the show out in 31 minutes. So now's the time to ask your questions, whatever you want. Uh,
Bueller. Bueller.
I do appreciate it for you coming on here and want to speak your mind.
No problem.
I think it's the right thing to try to get the message out there, try to be positive, because you don't get a
We
lot
all
of it,
gotta do
like I
better in
said.
this. I'm sorry. Yeah, we all gotta do better in this community.
Well,
We're all in this
this
together.
community's fine. We got to do better in the CAW community,
Yeah,
perhaps the JTV
that's what I
community.
meant. CAW,
You
we
know,
gotta do better. Stop
yeah,
normalizing toxic shit.
it's an unfortunate thing, but I mean, we don't have. There's no policing in call. You
Yeah,
know, the only policing that could exist is if all the admins kind of come together. The mature ones, the mature ones, and even the unmature ones, and we was able to make it to where it's like when something needs to get checked, it gets checked, and then it gets canceled.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And if we could do something like that, then things might be better. But I mean, the only thing you can do is just kick someone out of your community, ban them, and just move on.
Hmm.
It isn't that serious at the end of the day because it's just a video game.
Yeah,
Here's a question from Shendon. He says, "What is the worst match you had in JTV wrestling?"
that's easy. Um, Me and Isaac King versus the EOP. I think that was my third match.
Where was that at? Next gen.
That was next gen. If I remember correctly, that was next gen. I can't remember which episode, but I know it was what was it? Maybe 26 or no? Maybe I think I debuted on next gen 22. I can't remember which episode, but it was one of the next gen. I teamed up with that. Sorry, I teamed up with Isaac King against the EOP, and we got our asses destroyed.
And by EOP, of course, he's referencing the Empire of Pain, not to be confused with the other Empire of Pain, but
Yeah.
the Empire of Pain compiling of Draskell and King Wolf. Why do you say that you think that's the worst match you've had?
I did dog shit in that match. I was green as grass.
Okay.
And Isaac, he got eliminated early. I still think about it to this day. I don't know if he got eliminated early or if the game glitched and screwed him out because you know how 2K can be.
Yeah.
But and don't get me wrong, I've had some stinkers. There's been matches that I thought were pretty bad and other people enjoyed them, and I think to myself, what, you enjoyed that? Why would you enjoy that?
Yeah.
El Mago Jr.
El
at
Mago.
Snow Showdown
No showdown.
2019. I didn't like that match. I wanted to put him through a flaming table, got up on the ladder, set up the spot. He's like, actually, I'm going to tip this ladder over. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
And I almost lost that match a couple times because of the network.
Right.
Any other questions you guys got?
Well, Shannon has another one, but I think you've already answered it. We'll prompt it again. The question is your favorite match you had. I think you've already said that earlier.
Well, I enjoyed working with Matt. That was who did you enjoy working with? I think my favorite match I had was against Corey Flash at what was it? No Redemption.
Yeah.
I want to say that was 2020 or 2021.
Yeah.
Help me out here.
It had to have been maybe in 20. It could have been in 21, but it had to have been in 20 because I remember you guys working during the pandemic time.
So
Yeah,
it was during that time.
20.
It was for the hardcore title, and Corey was total champion at the time. I think he held that title for like over 800 days or something.
It could have been 20 and it could have gone into 21. It's possible that something like that went on. It was like probably entering 21, something like that along those lines. But I thought Corey was a decent total champion. Um, I just think that Corey should do more with some of the stuff he does in JTV.
I
And
agree.
if he did do more, he would benefit more. But since he doesn't, he kind of just stays, unless I'm helping him out, somebody else is helping him out, he kind of just stays where he's at, you know. I mean, he's a busy guy, he's limited.
Yep.
Um, I just think that when he's got more time on his hands, he should contribute to himself, his character development. But I mean, he's always going to be the all-star kid. He's a great talent, great superstar. Um, when he had the world heavyweight championship, he he could have did more. He had made a mistake at that time, and I pretty much kicked him out of the community. Uh, and I think if he had not listened to other people, I think his title run could have been better. I was enjoying his title run. I thought things were going to work out for all the right reasons, and he took advantage when I was beating the shit out of VIP. You know what I mean? And I just never felt the need. I mean, any other boss would have went, oh, let me beat Corey back for the title. I didn't feel I had to do that. I don't feel like I have to beat anybody. I feel like there's matches I should have. What I mean? I feel like there's people I want to beat, but I just don't feel like I have to do anything. And Corey got the title, and I felt comfortable. I thought he was just going to carry the promotion, and he did. And I thought that he was just going to do more. Um, so that's that. So I don't make it about me and Corey, but so you would say Corey Flash is your very best opponent in the
Yeah.
ring so far. Okay, I'm sure he'll take that as a nice compliment. All right, we got 22 minutes before we close the show out. If you guys have any more questions, put them up. Put them up. Any more questions that you might have? Anything you might want to say, Colin?
Nope. I'm
Okay,
just waiting for
well,
that question you want to ask me.
I think episode two. Well, I've already asked you. It was a WCW, but
Oh,
I'll say that episode 21. I'm gonna put thought into the next person that I bring on here, um, and it's gonna be revealed very soon who is going to be the next person that's gonna walk on this show. And you never know; it could be Chris Concha. You never know, but
I like that.
I'm sure a lot of people would. But episode 21, I'm looking to bring in the new year with somebody special. So be on the lookout for that. But definitely would love to have Daniel on here from WWU. If somebody could get him, tell him, I would really like to have him. I think he should make the effort, come through. It's no sweat, no problem. All we're doing is talking. It's no different than me making a phone call to him and then just having a conversation with him. What I mean? I don't know if it's just the pressure of people listening and maybe him not giving what he believes is the right answer that maybe concerns him, maybe. But I don't know. I think he's a regular looking guy. I saw him giving a announcement the other day on video and everything, and seems fine. Seems like a normal guy, married man, hard worker, regular dude, not being on no weird shit. Very supportive, very good with his talent, and he has a good promotion, and he's passionate. So all those equate to having a good relationship with me. Those are the only promoters today in call that I want to talk to. You know, you got to be positive and you got to be real and you got to be a good person. an exceptional good person. Exceptional being that it appears at least that you're a good person. You know, if you just a piece of shit, I don't want to work with you. I don't want to talk with you. So, any other questions? Who is that? No questions. So we got 20 minutes before we wrap the show up here. Uh, Thank you is really what I want to keep saying. I'm very happy with what we got going on so far, and very grateful that Colin's come on the show and stuff, and that we get to just do the things that we're doing. I really hope New Year is going to be amazing for everybody because we need it. This year's been rough. It's been real rough. We lost a lot of people this year. My health has been out of control. Like my health has not been this bad like ever in my life. It's been bad this year, very bad. And um, things in JTV have been great, but I'm definitely hoping to get more active with things. Bringing Retro Slam back for sure. Excited to work with Third Eye Chris Conscience on the next episode for you guys very soon of Retro Slam, especially with the acquisition of the new company. Uh, Wrestle Arcade, whatever the hell it's called,
I know
and
about it.
and good times. Just looking to get back to stuff. I think that we should be getting JTV 19 Lucha Underground in about 2-3 weeks or so. So it's not going to take too long for the next JTV show, which is good news. It's not going to be 2 months or whatever. It'll be a couple weeks. It's not going to take too long to get that out, and then after we get that show done, we're traveling to Amber's neck of the woods. We're going to California, John Skinner's neck of the woods, Amber's hometown, Fresno, California. For Mega Rush. I'm excited about Mega Rush coming back. We're going to be celebrating, I believe it's the 11th, no, the 12th year anniversary of Mega Rush. So there's going to be some phone calls made. You never know who's going to show up at the 12th year anniversary of Mega Rush. You just never know what legends may come back, who will be there, the matches, and the things that may happen. We're definitely looking to get out of control that night. Um, so I'm excited about Mega Rush coming back, going to Fresno, California. And once we are done with JTV 19 and Mega Rush, we are going to put out Chemical Warfare. Chemical Warfare has the potential to be the best pay-per-view premium live event of 2026 if Ultimate Showdown 6 has anything to say about that. But I think Chemical Warfare is definitely going to deliver. Uh, I invite all of our fans who tune into the WCW show to bring yourselves over to Chemical Warfare and JTV 19 and Mega Rush, and to continue to support us. We love you guys and appreciate it. Smash that like button, leave some comments, tell your friends that professional wrestling is cool again. It is safe to turn on JTV and expect to go home and to leave having to have watched something really dope and really compelling. WCW show is proof of us working on our storylines, our scenes, our creative input, and that's just where we're looking to go. We're looking to go in that direction and get better. So keep on showing love to us, and we'll keep on showing love to you. Is there any more questions from anyone as we get ready to close out here in the next 15 minutes? We have a question from Mark Bennett. Where did you get the inspiration for the Terminator gimmick?
It's never an inspiration. I just put face paint on me because I heard you say that you like Terminator, and I thought, okay, maybe that would be maybe that could be my chance to put on a good first impression. The
So it
Canadian
was me.
Terminator
I
nickname,
influenced you.
huh?
So it was me that influenced you.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Canadian Terminator nickname, I fucking hated. I never liked it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like it and it stuck with them.
Yeah.
And the Bulletstorm nickname I recently came up with, I think I got that off of a video game cover, the Win or Die, where I have it written on my hands. I got that from a PlayStation avatar.
Yeah.
Just the little things. I saw the big picture and the little things, and I decided to make something out of that.
Absolutely. Inspiration can come out of anywhere.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I think Bulletstorm works for you.
yeah,
I like the Canadian Terminator. I think you got it over. It's not always easy to get something over, but I think it's something that you got over and it worked. I mean,
yeah.
as cliche as it may be or cringe, if I thought it was bad, I would have pulled you aside and would have told you, look, I don't think it's going to work. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So if I co-signed on it, I mean, it can't be bad. You know, but I mean, look at Shendon when Shandon came off of the leagues, getting ready to sign his first JTV wrestling contract. You know, he was originally wanting to be the legend killer, and to him, from my understanding, that was something he came up with along the road that he traveled and called. I don't know how he was not aware that Randy Orton was using the nickname Legend Killer, and you know, because of his era. Randy's really from his era, but um,
mm.
he just, I guess he didn't know, according to him. But I just thought it was just bad. I didn't like it at all. It was very cringe, and I just honestly told them, you know, I don't think it's going to work. You know, the King of Legends thing was supposed to be that. Shendon's thing was when he's on the regular shows, he's a legend killer, and then when he's on pay per views, he's the King of Legends or something like that. You know, and I told them that that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
What if instead you did this? What if you was the King of Legends all the time? You was OP all the time. You don't need to be OP on pay per view. This ain't TKO creative writing. What if you're just OP all? You're always a beast. You're always the King of Legends, and the King of Legends is the King of the Kingdom, the King of all legends, the representative of all legends. So he is the representative of JTV as the King of Legends. You know, and I thought that sounds good. I had doubts, I'm not going to lie, but I just thought it sounded better. And when I took the idea to him and I started making sense, he was like, "Yeah, you know, you make a good point," and he went with that. And even Corey Flash, uh, I think I came up with the All Star Kid back in the day, and I just because I thought, you know, I didn't like Corey Flash at first, the name, because I thought it was just very basic. But Corey found a way to get it over with me. So I said, you know, what if you was the All Star Kid, Corey Flash? You know, because you had the Heartbreak Kid, and I thought, you know, the All Star Kid. So
Mm.
he got the All Star Kid, and it worked. It stuck with him, and same with Matt Dagger. When I came up with his name, you know, it was just something that we hit Matt Dagger, and it just worked. It just worked for him. It made sense. It was something that was it was catchy, you know, and you know, making a talent, making a star takes time. Developing a character takes time, a gimmick, if you will. You know, so
Yeah.
having this Terminator, um, Canadian Terminator, I don't think it's bad. I think it's sort of like how they call Roxanne the Prodigy. Prodigy is a name that's been thrown around, used and overused. It's just the
Yeah.
modern brain rotted wrestling fans don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of fans who probably think that the Prodigy is Roxanne. That's her nickname, and she's the first one that came up with it. There's a lot of people that think that way, and that's why it's important to do your research. She is not the first one. The Prodigy, even rappers have used it. You know, Prodigy. You know what I mean? So It's been used and overused, but Roxanne made it work. You made the Canadian Terminator work. And I like Bulletstorm Colin Klein. I could still call you the Canadian Terminator and Bulletstorm Colin Klein, and it would be fine. Because when I was coming up in wrestling, you can have other nicknames. I've had other nicknames. The Landmark, the I've been called Icon in the past. I just don't use none of that. You know, no kills. Or remember, I used to be called the Fast Cat back in the Here Comes the Pain days. The Fast Cat, Kevin Impact. And I thought that's fucking garbage. I threw that shit away. And I found the global phenomenon. And when I found the global phenomenon, it worked for me. I found the box office hit. It just worked for me. Kevin Impact worked for me. All those three things, and it stuck with me. In SVR 2010, I was calling myself the Rage Kevin Impact. So it's a lot of nicknames. It's okay to
Yeah.
have nicknames, you know.
Well, I've had people call me Legend.
No, there you go. There you go. Mark says, I like the Canadian Terminator nickname, Colin. So do I,
Oh
Mark.
no, and there's a lot of people that preferred that nickname.
And you can still use it.
Yeah,
You're Bulletstorm Colin Klein, but it's not wrong to reference you as a Canadian Terminator. You're Bulletstorm Colin Klein, but it's okay to
mm,
reference you as a Canadian Terminator. That's completely fine. Just because you was able to get that over. I mean,
yeah,
who else is the Canadian Terminator? Who else? Nobody. That goes back to you, and that's how you know you've gotten something over. When I think of the Canadian Terminator, I can't think of no one. There's no one else. You're the Canadian Terminator, the first one. That
mm.
that type of shit is important, So I think it's fine. I think it works. Um, but he wanted to move away from it, so he's Bulletstorm Colin Klein, But he can be referenced as the Canadian Terminator.
Yeah.
Any other questions? We got 8 minutes here before we wrap up. Any other questions y'all may have? Anything about the shows, maybe JTV films or something? Any questions you might have, Colin?
I can't think of any at the moment.
Okay. If anybody has any creative ideas for JTV films, uh, feel free to send your information over to jtvwrestling at yahoo.com. I'm going to put that in the comments right now.
Hmm.
Uh,
I know one. So this is about my finisher, and a lot of people, some people don't know what my finishers' names are. Drop 'em dead, which is that rolling cutter I do, and I'm in this league, and some guy came up with a different name for it, and I haven't told him that actually this is the name for my finisher. The knee strike that I do, and it's a knee strike. It's not a kick to the face. Unfortunately, 2K doesn't have any other knee strikes that I feel suit my character.
right.
So I've tried using the last shot 3, but that move is very easy to reverse. So I switch between that and the Daniel Bryan Kenta knee strike. Um, when the knee strike, I called it "You done, son." Actually, you came up with that, and I thought to myself, I like that name, so I'm gonna use that. But the drop 'em dead, I've been trying to get that over for years, and a lot of my friends like it. They think it's pretty cool.
Well, for anybody who's finished your name, I'm not remembering. You just got to hit me up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Conscience pulled me aside several times and told me, listen, you got to call Amber's move, on the rocks. because I was calling it something else for a while.
Princess Code, I think.
Because she told me it was Princess Code and stuff like that. And they had their talks and stuff like that, and we had our talks, and we had agreed on the rocks. Because I think she got two of them. I think she still has a Princess Code, but she has another move called on the rocks. And Conscience just kept normalizing it until I remembered that it's on the rocks. You know what I mean? And when he pulled me on the side and made me understand that, it stood with me. So I apologize to anyone whose finisher names I'm forgetting or I don't mention on TV when we're on the show. It's a lot of moves, it's a lot of things. If you do a super kick, you can't expect me to remember to call it the shining shooter kick, like it's a super kick, you
Yeah.
know. So you got to remind me, if you got a name for a finisher, you got to remind me for us to get it over. Shendon got over the Kingdom's Curse. I'm still working on some of your stuff. I definitely got to remember your stuff. The Bandenplex is another legendary move that I can remember easily. That's why I don't want Mark to change it. You know, the Corey Flash All Star traditional got over. You know what I mean? And he has variations of it. But Amber is who I remember. Corey Flash, Shendon, Dallas Goldman with the Golden DDT, Mark Bennon's Bandenplex. It's some people. Marcus has his DDT or his move, and I don't know if it's Into the Darkness or something like that. I kind of remember it, but I don't entirely remember it. I have to focus on working on that, and I'm gonna try to
Yeah.
work on that into the new year. But I can't remember everybody's shit, so I apologize for that. I wanted to say something you were saying, but I forgot. I was gonna talk some shit about something. I can't remember now. Probably a good thing since we're getting ready to wrap up the show.
Yeah.
Uh, what are the comments? Okay. Yeah, I like that. Dan said that Amber needs a move called Rock Your World. I like that. So yeah, I agree with all that. I got some work to do always. We all got work to do. It's all about progress and progression. Um, I remember now what I wanted to say before we close the show out is I really don't like the try hard shit. I don't like the constant blocking everything. I understand some of you bitches is desperate to win matches and stuff like that, but I just don't like the try hard stuff. You know, the performance, performing, having a great match, it matters more than just winning the match. Winning the match is only important to advance to shit. But if you're going out there having shitty matches and you're blocking everything, it just kills your match. So I hate that you feel like you have to have moves that people can't block. I just hate that mentality because any move in the game should be fine. You should be able to do anything and should be fine. Unfortunately, especially high flying moves, you can't really hit them unless somebody's stunned. So it's hard. It's hard to wrestle. It's hard to wrestle. I may have to implement more rules into JTV at some point, but I'm going step by step, and I just hate this whole mentality that we gotta make moves that people can't block. That's some try hard shit. People blocking every single move. You know what I mean? But at the same time, what can I say? You can't really expect someone to just let you do whatever you want on them neither. So it's a two-way street if you catch my drift. Uh, but nonetheless, we're getting ready to close the show out. I want to thank my special guest, Colin Klein, for being on the City of Impact. Like,
Thank
comment, subscribe, and share. We hope to have you back on the show in the future. And I hope that everything goes well for you in the new year, man. I wish you the absolute best of luck with your
I wish you the
championship
best
and
of
with
luck.
thank you, sir. And with Jocelyn. And I hope, your mind will be good, your health will be good, and Love you like a brother, and it's not going to change. And thank you, thank you for being a part of this journey with me and
Oh,
JTV.
no problem,
It means a
man.
lot.
Always.
So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to talk to you guys in a bit. You know where I'm headed now, buddy. I'll see you there. But
Yep.
nonetheless, God bless everybody watching, tuning in, and Kevin Impact and Colin Klein signing out. And we will catch you on episode 21 in the City of Impact. Top that if you can. Any last words, Colin, or any advice that you can give people?
I want to say just be yourself, but sometimes that brings out the ugliness of people. But that's how you draw out the toxic ones. Just be yourself. For the love of God, man. Just be honest.
Right,
Because if you're not honest in CAW, then it's just not going to work. You have to be honest, and you got to learn how to take criticism.
right. And you can apply that to life as well, not just CAW.
Yeah,
But excellent
this is an
advice.
art form.
Yeah, excellent advice. Thanks for being on the show once again. We're going to close out here. Signing out. Good
Yep.
fight. Good night.
Cheese.